Yo, how we doing today, y'all? Hopefully everybody having a good day. Hopefully everybody is having a good day. We got about 3 minutes until they go live too, so I'm gonna be off cam for a minute, but whoever's in here, man, I appreciate that.
Out here, this is the one that you've all been asking for. The one
Have they?
oh yeah, the one that this is the stream they've really have been requesting. Ronnie, I can't even. We're going back 2 years that the community has been wanting this stream, and you guessed it. Today we are talking all things lore about the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I am Andy Cleaves. I am the community representative here at Gun Interactive. Over the last couple years, you might have seen me in the official Gun Discord, the official TX Chainsaw Game subreddit. So now you got to put a face with the messages that the discourse we've had over the last couple years. We got Robert Fox II on the board producing us, the real MVP of this stream.
Legit, for real.
Yeah. Well, as y'all know, this is our lore stream. Who better to do that with other than the creative director for the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, Ronnie Hobbs. Ronnie?
How you doing?
Hey, thank you. Thank you, Darkside. How you doing today, bro?
It's been a couple months in the planning, but I'm here.
I got to message you later about something if you're free.
Guy, You're a busy guy. You're a busy guy, but we're glad to finally get this done. I know we have been teasing this stream for a little while, but Ronnie's a busy guy, man. We got to give him the time and get him out here, but we got him out here. I guess creative director, what does that mean? What do you do here at Gun?
What do I do here? That's a good question. No, I think as a creative director, I'm responsible for
thank you.
Creative vision.
How does it look, by the way, Dark? How does it look and sound?
That means the creation of the game world, the characters, the implementation of all the gameplay features, art, which is obviously the game world characters, writing. So pretty much every facet of the game I have some hand in. Obviously, within those structures are creative leads and other people, obviously, that work in those departments. But I just try to come up with a vision and a design for our games well in advance. Sometimes that takes 6-7 months. Sometimes it could be a year.
Yeah.
Hey, thank you, Dirk. I know you're having a very, very interesting morning catching up all the stuff, you know?
Developer to create the game and try to keep it
Catching up all the stuff that's been going
keep our
on.
vision intact while also listening to their ideas and their feedback along the way. So, yeah, a lot of that stuff. So.
Well, and I know you've touched on it in the Making the Massacre BTS video that Matt Shacha produced and shot and all that. It was such a good BTS video. You touched on a little bit, not to
I think they're
rehash
going
too
to talk
much of it,
about,
but you touched on
there's a few
how
things
much
I'm
this
expecting them to talk
film,
about
the
this stream, but
1974 film, the Texas
I don't want to
Chainsaw
jinx
Massacre,
it.
means to you. I mean, this project in general, I guess where I'm kind of coming from is like when you first got word, like, okay, we're gonna work on the Texas Chainsaw Massacre. This is the next game that we're gonna
Bananas and vibes. I've been seeing nothing but UFC 5 drama and Meek Mill memes, Dark. I ain't gonna lie.
A lot of that kind of stuff.
What's up, Ed?
That had to be so exciting for you.
Fire trim?
Spoiler
Pretty
alert,
much
y'all.
just
Ronnie and I we're both a couple of horror nerds.
my same
So
fate.
can
I was in the
relate
middle of
to-
doing my
yeah,
hair,
so
if y'all
I
can
just had
tell.
to
I was in the middle of doing my hair. I didn't
and
finish
then
the
you got to sit
back
down and start the
or nothing.
Kind of nervous at first, obviously, you know, because I mean, you talk about it for so many years.
Wait.
License or you,
Hey, Ed, I just found out some people in the UK put out a fake AI website or like ad about like a Willy Wonka factory they're launching in the UK. Parents got there with their kids and it was like a big ass like warehouse room with some posters and shit hanging around and stuff, bro. Why y'all scamming in the UK?
that day, where we were at, what we were doing.
Mm-hmm.
It was just one of those films that left a lasting impact.
I was a phenom in my single era.
because you'd never seen it before.
Yeah.
It was
You
unlike
trying to get me in trouble?
anything I'd ever seen, and I'd seen lots of horror films at that age, but they were mostly the the comical.
Make sure y'all
ones
like
you
up the
see
stream
on TV,
too.
things like that. So, but this felt real. You know. The
Oh,
way they
thank
shot
you.
the film.
I'm adding
It
more.
felt like you were there.
I don't.
And
What
I
should
think
go
that's
back
what
here?
we
Dark side, help me. I don't know what to
did.
put back here.
And I remember just hanging on to that for a long time. And then when I studied film in school, like in film class, Andy's holding my hand. That's fine. You can hold my hand. Then you start to dive into what makes that film special.
Yeah.
That's not
These
so
guys are so nice, bro. Like they didn't big bro me or anything.
So I
Like
remember going, wow.
super nice,
Okay,
especially
so you know
Andy.
about it.
Andy
That's
made
not
me
like
feel
you
so
know,
welcome at the pre-launch
yeah,
party.
you don't know who the screenwriter is and,
Sure.
and who the director is. You
Yeah.
know, unless it's like Steven Spielberg. But
Right.
right. So when you typically watch a horror movie, you don't know those things. But
I was a nerd, Ed.
in college.
Custom LED?
I kinda figured out,
Boy, that's like
man,
300. Fuck
this
no.
really is special. So,
It is. And
A Christmas tree?
I think one thing that always
By the way, even though this is like a lore stream, they're talking about the lore for Texas. I expect to see or hear more about our upcoming victims, our victim and a family member. Even though this is like a Texas stream, y'all could talk about whatever in the chat. I was a nerd. One thing y'all didn't know about me, and I hope Jordan never releases these pictures. This is the only time I'm gonna say this on stream. I used to have a perm in high school. I was like in my rock era. Like I used to have a legitimate perm. Y'all will never find them pictures though. I promise you that.
so, and then once Friday the 13th came out and we were looking for our next project, it became a reality and became a possibility. And you never want to get too excited because you know how Hollywood is and you know how contracts go.
Yeah.
And, so you may wait a year before you realize that you
Sure.
actually have it. So once that happened, I had already played the game 1,000 times in my head. Right.
Yeah.
Because,
You were born to do this. You were prepared. You were preparing
Yeah,
for
I
this
already
for a long
kinda
time.
Dark side,
had a
chill,
good
Is
bro.
that wrong for me to say that?
No.
You were mentally kind
Chill,
of
bro.
preparing in case you ever did get the opportunity.
I mean, yeah, that was the same with Friday the 13th, too. We always knew that
White people get perms to like make their hair curly. Black people get perms to straighten their hair.
it was one of those things that to us it was a no-brainer. To me, it was a no-brainer. Wes was like, yes.
Hey, look how long my hair
this
is.
We all kind of agreed on that.
I'm gonna get 2
But
strands.
then you have to actually do it.
yeah. That's,
And then you have to.
I didn't
sit
finish
down
my
and
hair, bro. This
start
shit look
and
weird.
Create the world and create the characters, and like you said, that's kind of where, Kim Hinkle comes in.
Yeah. and
And all the
to,
backstory.
to kind of kick off everything, we're gonna kind of reminisce a little bit more about how it all started with Maria. Maria Flores.
Oh, here we go.
That whole creative process to sit down and actually conceptualize,
Yeah.
the catalyst for our game.
I'm so
and
tapped into the
characters
lore,
built
bro.
around that. Where were some inspirations and ideas
So-
that?
The story itself, and when we got the license, we had several options that we could have done. Obviously, we could have tried to recreate the '74 film and let you run around as Pam, Jerry, Kirk,
Sure.
Sally, and Franklin, and everyone, right?
Yeah.
That would have been dope.
You know how that story ends, right? So if Sally doesn't live, are you mad? So what we didn't want to do was just kind of recreate that time frame.
Mhm.
And I didn't want to do a sequel because we know what happens. Sally gets away.
Yep.
So how could the family still be there? We know what happens in part 2,
Sure.
right? They've relocated, so to speak.
Yeah.
So in my mind, the prequel was the only way to do it, that we could have anything.
That's
interesting
tough,
in it.
Ed. That's tough, bro.
So
I'm finna cut my
when I
hair
went
off.
to Kim with that idea, and when we mentioned it to them, Kim was like, "Yeah, okay, let's think about that and see what you have." So that's when I just kind of tried to come up with some characters that I knew you would empathize with. But at that point, I didn't know who they were,
Sure.
and I didn't know who the new family member was going to be. This is really, really early on.
Man says Sideshow Bob. All right, bro.
Kind of sat down with Kim, and we started just doing some rough ideas, but I didn't really even know what I wanted it to do until I went to Texas. So when you're asking me about Maria and Anna and where they came from and where Johnny and Sissy came from, a lot of that was from me just in Texas.
Just traveling around and seeing, and
Yeah.
because you traveled to hundreds of towns.
Oh, easily. I mean, a lot of our team went to Texas. So,
I'm not gonna lie, Wes. The whole gang. Y'all do another asymmetrical, bro. I'll work for free, bro. Put me in the game, man.
over the course of COVID, I was just driving around Texas. So, and it was different than Friday because Friday we had lots of film reference. There's not a lot of film
Very
reference
true.
for Texas, a movie that's that old,
Yeah.
right? And we really felt we wanted to recreate the world of Texas so that when you play it,
I need to go to
it's actually
UK.
Texas you're walking around in, and that's through photography and photogrammetry, right? And that's where our mat trips and ish trips came in. We were capturing lots of real photos that were used in the game world.
Mm-hmm.
But that kind of turned into, hey, we need photos, but also go meet with Kim. And then while you're there, look around. And it was the looking around part that turned into like an obsession.
Yeah.
It went from looking around 1 day to 2 days to 3 days to 12 days to probably 60 or 70 total days. Probably a month and a half or 2 total days of
Why do I gotta be
driving
Sonny's brother?
and
Why
talking
can't
to
I just be
people
another
and
black dude,
exploring
Ed?
cities and taking photos of old farmhouses or old slaughterhouses
Mhm.
or just the wildflowers. And it was really a wildflower trip that I took by myself way, way, way back in the day. I'd never known about the Texas wildflowers, even though I lived in Texas.
Why the
for
fuck do I
years.
gotta be Sonny's
I'd
brother,
never
bro?
seen
I'm still stuck on that.
You have to be there at a certain time of
It
year.
does. It's about for about a month in March and April when they appear. And people come.
Casey said, "Hey, bro, I recently found your channel and I think you're great. Much love." Hey, thank you so much, Casey. Hope you're having a good day. If you want to stick around after this sit down, we're gonna be doing some gameplay. If I can get my crew, I need Jack, DJ, and Nina. But thank you so much. I love each. The game has some lows, right? But I definitely still have love for horror and love for this game. Like I said, bro, hey. If y'all get your hands on the Scream IP, I will work for free, bro. Put me in the game. Put me in the game, bro.
Find out later he's not blood related. I'm gonna take
Wait,
away the
wait,
focus
wait.
from Leatherface, from the hitchhiker, from Grandpa, from the cook, and I'm gonna put the entire focus on this new character who doesn't even look like part of the family.
Right.
Wait,
And I'm
Casey,
gonna
how'd you
use
find
film
my channel? From what
to tell
video?
the story as like the catalyst. And I was expecting him honestly to just say, "Why not just use Sissy? I've already have a backstory for her." Or maybe Johnny should be in the background a little bit. Maybe
That was
she
good,
runs into
Remy.
the hitchhiker. But in fact, he said that's a great idea. And that kind of threw me for a loop. And that was my starting. relationship
Jack. What's
of-
up, Jack?
It wasn't no's across the board. It was that's a great idea. You're like, what?
Jack, you changed your
So
name?
that's kind of how he thought it'd be cool to let me use Johnny. So
You had to be fanboy so
No,
big in that moment.
No,
I was
it
born
really
in
great because
fucking
it's a
97,
professional
Ed,
business
bro.
For him to listen to ideas
What?
and not just listen to them, but go, yeah, let's use Johnny as that person who can go away from the family and interact with poor Maria.
Yeah.
So I knew I had Johnny. I knew I wanted him to be out and about, and we can get back to him later.
Yeah. And we will.
But
Oh,
really
thank you.
traveling
Thank
around
you,
that set
Casey.
Of
Yeah.
seeing the wildflowers
you.
and then knowing that I wanted one of the two sisters to be on that trip.
Sure.
I really love the idea of two sisters, an older one and a younger one.
I think Maria's
I knew I
alive,
wanted the
bro.
younger sister.
I'm sorry. I think Maria's
Try to
alive,
save the
man.
older sister.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all.
She mentally would be less prepared to do
People
that.
keep
I
saying
wanted
she's
to be
dead, bro.
there.
I'm sorry. She's alive,
I
man.
thought that would be better than the older sister trying to find the young one, which you see a lot, right?
Yeah,
I wanted this young
that's true.
girl to try to like, oh God, right?
I
So
like
that's where
that.
came from. But we
I
can get
like
into
that a
those
lot.
characters
I like that a lot.
specifically,
Yeah, we will.
yeah.
And just so everyone's clear, we're gonna break we're gonna break down. We're gonna go through victim by victim, family by family member.
Yeah.
We're gonna touch on.
This
a
is
lot
gonna
of things
spark some
here.
new video
Ronnie,
ideas for me.
And Ronnie also shared the story of his Instagram. Shared the post about this stream to his Instagram story.
Yep.
He took about like
Ed, what's
8
wrong with
to
you?
10 questions that we'll do at the end. But we're gonna try to roll through this because we don't want to sit here for 3 hours.
Bro,
going
please sit
through.
here for 3 hours, bro.
But we also, we want to make sure this was such a highly requested stream that, we want to make sure that we cover a lot of bases here and get you guys all the information you can.
I still don't know how to donate to them to ask
One thing
questions.
as a diehard fan of the original film myself, and just a diehard horror fan in general, some things that I've
Exactly,
like to
RJB.
have done is finding connections from our characters that you've created to the OG family members like Hitchhiker and Leatherface and Cook. One, for instance, that I just think is super cool is the Polaroid camera. The camera that Hitchhiker has in the '74 film, he got that from Maria.
Yeah.
So those are the connections that I really dig, and like, how did you even think of that? Just it's so cool to me, man.
The camera thing was actually very interesting because I knew I wanted Maria, this sweet, beautiful, hardworking girl who had worked her way from nothing.
Sure.
Finally got a chance to go to college. Their dad passed away a couple years earlier. Maria's working jobs, trying to take care of her younger
I'm so locked into this. I'm sorry if y'all are bored.
She finally works hard enough. She gets to go to college, this awesome college, UT, right? And when she gets there, she wants to study photography. And her family had saved up money to buy her this camera. So it meant a lot,
Right.
right? And she's out
It's a big
taking
moment,
photos.
yeah.
And unfortunately, she runs into Johnny. There's a saying, like, the wildflowers bring out rattlesnakes. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Because the rattlesnakes come to look for prey in the flowers. When you're walking around the flower, you have to be careful.
Yep.
And I always picture Johnny as that rattlesnake, right?
Yeah.
Maria just being there trying to take photos. But she had a camera. And there was one point in development where I was talking to Wes, and he was like,
Channel point
"Where'd she
thing?
get
What do
this
you
camera?"
mean?
And I was like, well,
You got the game the day of release, thought it was amazing.
figure that out.
3 months ago, you found it
And
boring. I
that's
get
what
it.
we had to
I
design
understand
what
it. I
the
get
camera
it.
looked like.
Right.
Right, and it was like an object.
Yeah.
Because you have to design these things one at a time. And that's when I think either he or I were like, wait, that's the Hitchhiker's camera. Right, behind the scenes, that's what we wanted to do with it. But then we had to get Kim to say yes. So once again, there's another example of where you would expect to know.
This serving as a prequel game is
That-
fucking
That is
dope,
an
man.
incredible idea. And we're like,
The
imagine
ball
that, 'cause
guy
it's
is
such an-
Ronnie.
I mean,
That's
it's the
Ronnie.
Hitchhiker's camera, right? He carries it
Ronnie's
around, and
dope, man.
So
Him
the
and Wes
memorable
as a
thing-
team
that
are
whole
amazing.
band scene
Yeah.
with him when they pick
I
him
think it would
up
be more
is
interesting
such
if she was
a
alive
memorable
too.
scene from the film.
So in order for him to let us tie that to Maria and give validation to her character,
Sure.
that's an incredible thing to ask of
Absolutely.
someone who created one of the biggest horror movies ever made.
Absolutely.
And he said yes. So, or else we would have had to make a generic camera,
Sure.
right? So she would have always had a camera taking photos, but to be able to tie that in, that's just remarkable.
That's dope,
And
man.
it's a really cool feeling.
love
when
that.
you watch that movie. Like, that's Maria's camera you got there, buddy.
Yep.
This will
Come on, some
forever be
Maria
tied into that movie. I
Right?
love it.
So that's a really cool feeling, I think.
Speaking of things that
Oh.
belong to Maria,
So, by the way,
there
this
you go.
sorry,
buddy.
if you notice on the missing persons poster, it says brown satchel. This is it. This is the only one that we have, by the way.
I'll get my nugget in a second. Hold on.
Old lady blanket.
I'll go get my
Nancy's blanket
nugget.
is
Hold on.
falling down.
It's falling apart.
But this is her satchel, and it's the only one we have. And
That isn't original.
it's been driving her. I've had it in my truck, in the front seat of my truck for about a year.
Let me have that bit.
I don't know what to do with it. So we should probably just, like, I don't know, give it away
Yeah,
to someone.
maybe.
That's up to you all, though. So you have to, like, coordinate. Sorry, social team. But we could possibly give this away. So you let us know if you think you want to maybe win this
Look,
or something.
Maria being alive opens up. So I don't want her to just be dead. Please hit us with the okie doke. Please be alive. Please
That's her
be
bag, so
alive.
if you're wondering why we have a woman's satchel next to us. So, yeah, let us know if you think you want to win that, and we'll try to think of something cool. Unless it's also teams like, Ronnie, shut the hell up.
Yeah.
But yeah, proceed.
But so let's start going through the victims in a little bit.
All right.
These are more generalization questions about the victims, and these are things that I've kept my eyes out on. The community, the last couple of years, I've seen all these questions. All of us here on the community team have seen it. So luckily, when I tell you things like when we tell you on Reddit, we'll notate it, we'll pass it along. We mean that, and this is
And they're passing along to me.
I'll be back. Hold
And they're
on.
like, Ronnie, give us an answer. Yes.
Confirm. Do I pass things along to you?
For the record, Andy does come to my office routinely and be like, hey, man, you got a minute? Right, and that minute's usually about an hour. And he's like, I got a couple questions. Here's 700 of them. And I'm like, Andy, I appreciate it, bud, but
bro, I got like 5
I
lines to write.
I
Get the
usually
hell out
say,
of my office.
I'll get back to you. And therein lies the problem. I don't get back to him. Or I get back to him with like 2 answers out of like 700. So don't yell at Andy if he can't get you the answer you want. You can yell at me. Because he's trying.
I do. We try. We all do. But always keep that feedback coming on all our socials. Sid, Jet, myself. We're always listening. We're always passing it along. So
What, feedback?
Yeah, always.
Or questions?
Questions, feedback. Yeah, no. All
I like
of
to
it.
mess with Andy. So
But let's see. Let's move on.
who we got first?
So this is more of a generalization question, but
Yeah.
as far as like we know our victims outside of Anna, of course. Went to the University of Texas. They're students at the University of Texas. How did they all link up? Like Leland, Sonny, Julie. Who met who first? Like who's in the clip? Like how did that all come about?
Yeah. Let me rewind just for 1 second.
Sure.
So on those trips,
Yep.
I went to several towns in the Southwest. I was trying to find the home where these girls lived, like the perfect town in real life where Anna and Maria could come from.
Sure.
So there's like Medina, there's like Bandera, Uvalde down there, and there's a section. There's a heavy population of Latinas.
Mm-hmm.
And when I went there, I didn't know that. And I spent several days in that town walking around, just taking photos and chatting with anyone that I could.
Sure.
And it's a small town, so they knew I wasn't from there. So eventually you talk to conversations about like, hey, the antique store owner or some coffee shop or a cafe and a waitress. But the one story I routinely heard.
I just think for her to be, I think for us to be wondering this whole time what's going on with Maria, just for her to be dead, I'm not going to sit here and say it's predictable, but I think a lot of people are rooting for her to be alive. We've been on this crazy journey since last year, even before then, leading up to the game, wondering what the fuck happened. And if you played Petals, you see how it plays out with exactly how Maria was captured and potentially killed, right? I want her to be alive. I want these kids, like these young adults, to win so bad. I want Maria's little sister to be able to like reunite with her so bad. If they psych us out, and it's revealed that she's not dead. She's actually alive. She's just being tortured. And he's crazy. Like, bro, I want her to be alive so fucking bad, bro. That's why 2009's Friday the 13th. I love that twist. I love that twist, bro. We don't see Maria die on camera. We hear that chainsaw. We hear some flesh getting cut into, but we never see her die on camera.
I heard in a second, but Maria goes off to college.
Yep.
And it's there that she meets the current group of victims that you know and play as in our game. In particular, she met Leland because Leland's high school mascot is actually Coyotes. So in our game, Georgetown Coyotes. In real life, not so much. Uvalde is Coyotes.
Hey, what up, Pry?
So she sees
That's
Leland.
the
She sees Leland with his Coyotes shirt on. She's like, "Take that off, dude." Not
Is
the
it still
Coyotes,
low,
no.
Ed?
Like, no, bro. You know, and she
Her
gets
competitive spirit.
yes,
coming
she
out.
gets up in his face, kind of like in a joking manner, and he's like, "Who is this girl?" Right? What do you mean take it off? And then he's like, oh yeah, you go to school there. And that's how they met really, was just Maria confronting
I mean, I'm
Leland
pretty sure they were
about some
cutting into
silly,
Maria, but I don't.
shirt
So we
the
never
mascot
see
he had
her.
on his shirt.
Like
Yeah.
that's how a lot of movies get you. If you ever are watching a horror movie and you don't see them motherfuckers die on camera, when I say on camera, I mean you're watching it with your eyes, them die. Then it might be a fake out. In 2009's Friday the 13th, we see in the opening scene, this scene's like 10, 15 minutes. We see Jason running at this young lady with a fucking axe, but we never see her die on camera. Fucking second, like the third part of the movie, bro. Like in ending of the, I say like what, the last 30, 40 minutes, we realize she's alive. This might be doing the same thing. They could be cutting into her, but we don't know if she's dead, bro. All you hear is Leatherface's chainsaw.
The family saved that money for Maria, not Anna. So there's a whole story about Anna here that we'll get to. But yeah, that's kind of how they met, was because he had the Georgetown Coyotes jacket on.
Yeah, and the level of responsibility that comes with that for Anna too. You know, it really makes sense for the character and of the groundwork of how she was
and
created.
how tough she is.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes.
so.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I think she's definitely one I think a lot of the community gravitates to.
Anna's a fucking
you not?
beast.
I mean,
I'm not gonna lie to
literally,
y'all.
how can you not in my life?
Well,
Anna's
you'll
actually
hear more
dope.
today, and you'll really like her. So she'll get some more sympathy votes today.
Yeah. One other thing I want to touch on real quick. We'll do this real quick, and then we'll
Ed,
get to
what?
victim by victim. It's kind of cut from the same cloth as the hitchhiker's camera that he got it from Maria. Another thing that I like that you did that connects to the first film is the setup for our victims, how they got there, and the usage of well, actually, why don't you just tell the story? I don't want to spoil it. We have maybe shared this in a hub post a couple years ago. I'm sure some of you already are aware of this, but some of you I bet are not. The setup of our game, of how the victims got captured and all that.
Yeah. So when I was talking to Kim about the story,
Mhm.
I told him just flat out from the beginning, I go, I don't want to just do the kids ran out of gas, right? I don't want them to meet Leatherface.
Shout out everybody in here, man.
And that's how it happens, or the hitchhiker. That's why I want Johnny to go out, take the focus away from the house. Even though it's such a symbol in the first film, I need this new character to kind of bring our new kids
Jack,
there
what?
on purpose, as opposed to we're lost.
The fuck
Knock
is
on the
Jack
door,
talking
gonna
about,
get
bro?
Killed, right? And he was like, okay, that's interesting. And that's like, that's where the wildflowers come in. That's where Maria comes in, and that's where we have this stalker, serial killer version of Ted Bundy and Richard Ramirez and all these other weird serial killers mixed into this person who can go out and do these things. And he's like, I like it. And he's like, so how are the kids going to find them? And that's always
Great
a
question,
tough thing to do.
That is tough.
So the investigation goes into Maria. They find her car on the road where the house is. So that's where they find the car. That's in the news report. In our first trailer,
Yep.
you know, the police do find her car. There's no signs of foul play in the car.
Yeah.
So that would be her looking for wildflowers, right? Getting out, parking,
Sure.
things like that. Unfortunately, she never got back in the car.
Yeah.
But it looks normal. There's no signs of struggle. There's no blood. So they do know that she was last seen around that area.
Right.
And that's a report that comes out. So Anna hasn't heard from her sister in about a week. And that never happens. They're very, very close. Maria always calls home. Even Leland and Danny and all those people, Connie, they haven't seen her, you know. So they're like, something's weird here. And Anna is taking the responsibility of saying,
Leland
this isn't right. Like, I'm not
Leland
just
isn't
gonna sit
dating
here
Maria.
100
Danny
miles
is.
away
Danny
while my sister's
was Maria's boyfriend.
And that's where the younger sister getting the courage to like go find her older sister. Because it'd be easy to just sit 100 miles away and go, I don't know what to do, Mom. What are we going to do? Let the police handle it. But she's not.
That's
not Anna.
That's not in her DNA at
Yes.
all.
Yeah. So she's like, no, we're going. So she calls her friends. She calls Maria's friends and go, have you seen her? Anybody heard from her? And they're like, no, we still haven't heard from her. So Anna says, you know what? I'm coming and we're going. And it's Anna that initiates the thing. So Anna's not at college. I've seen some people think that.
Yeah.
Anna's back home 100 miles away.
Correct.
And she's the one that wrangles Maria's
All of her,
friends.
yeah,
Although they
all of her
want to
friends.
go.
Yeah, they want to
It's
go.
Anna that initializes the whole
But
conversation.
Anna's the leader of the whole mission.
So now we have them all in the same car, except Danny.
Right.
So Danny's different. So
And we'll get to that why
Yeah.
that is later.
so then they're going just based off she was last seen
Ed,
in
you're
Newton.
crazy, bro.
Her car was found on this road. And as you know, in any small town, the first place you go is
Hey,
gas
Remy,
station.
thank you for the
you
dono,
always
man.
stop at a gas
Appreciate
station
that.
if you need
W fucking
directions.
Remy, bro.
Especially in this time.
yeah,
W
or
Remy.
the police
Even
station.
nowadays.
Or
yeah.
a police station.
I'm
Yeah,
sorry I'm
especially in
not
a small
talking much,
town,
bro. I'm so locked
there ain't a
in.
whole lot of structures,
Absolutely.
right? So they had a game plan and a direction to go to. So they weren't just hunting blindly, and that was very important for me. I didn't want them just to stumble upon a location.
But
So
thank
when
you,
they
Remy.
get
Thank you,
to
bro.
the gas station, the cook realizes he sees the missing persons poster that they hand up, and he knows who they're looking for. And the cook's like, "Here we go. Once again, I got to clean up everybody's mess." So it's that point where the cook goes, "You know what? I think I recognize her, kinda, maybe. You know,
I
tell
love
you what,
Sonny,
though, it's
bro.
getting dark. I live up in that house. I got a campground out back. People use it all the time. It's safe. How about you camp there tonight, and then tomorrow, I'll see if I can't help you. I'll take you into town or whatever, you know, whatever spin, whatever snake oil salesman he puts on the
Cook
spin, right?
mastermind?
He's
And they
good
go,
at that.
yeah, they go camping at the campsite you see in the original film
And that's what I was.
that, you know, Kirk and Pam walk by.
Yep.
And you can see a little watch hanging there. You can see some remnants of a tent.
Yep. It's only a few frames.
Yeah.
You know. and-
So the family, once they're camping, the family kind of comes out and ambushes them and drags them back to the house and captures them. So that's kind of how our story kicks off.
Yep.
Of the cook knowing that he had to do something.
Nah, the
So,
cook is
yeah,
fed
it was really
up.
cool to tie that to
The
the
cook,
original
you
film.
can
Once
hear
again,
with the
that's another
dialogue in the
scenario
game.
where
The cook
Kim
is
said
so
yes.
fed up, bro.
That's so cool.
And it played out a similar way. I think we were talking here, me and Wes and maybe some other people, and like, well, where'd they go? How'd they get there? Where'd they stay?
Yeah.
Like, when do they get captured?
Yep.
How? So that little piece of that moment from the film perfectly allows us to do that.
Yep.
So that's kind of how we tied that together.
And again, I'm going to repeat this a lot. I'm a huge fan of the original film. Can't hide it. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But the horror nerd in me appreciates these kind of things.
Nah,
And,
this is
you know,
sick, bro.
I said,
I like it.
It's really, you can only see it in a few frames in the final cut of the film, but there is a deleted scene of that as well.
Yeah.
I think you can even find that on some behind the scenes.
One of the cuts.
Yeah,
or
one of the
something.
yeah. There is a deleted scene where Kirk and Pam do go to this campground. So to kind of like lean into that even more for this, I love as a fan.
It was awesome, like just to put a bow on.
Yeah.
You know, and it would be fine without it probably, but it was cool to tie that together.
No, that's with those.
Bro,
with
imagine-
Hitchhiker's camera. Being
Never mind. I'll
Maria's
tell y'all
and-
later. I'll tell y'all later.
And that tie-in.
Yeah.
Yeah. Those are the kind of things that really just hit me in the heart and just I love.
Yeah,
personally.
it's more authentic.
I think we're getting.
And
I'm
that's kinda-
telling you, bro.
obviously we
Look,
try to
as soon
focus
as
on
we
that.
discover
So
she's
try
alive,
to- if
we're
it's
gonna
there,
be
try
able
to
to play
use it.
her. She's gonna be a
In a
playable
way, if it
character.
makes sense.
Maria will be playable, bro.
You want to start off with Sonny?
Let's go. What do you want to know about Sonny?
Well,
Yeah, there we go.
About his girlfriend.
Sunny Love. Girlfriend.
oh,
That no one knows
love
about?
interest for Sonny?
What?
Yes. So people really don't know a lot about Sonny.
Yeah.
They know he's kind of a nerdy guy, I guess, a little bit, because he's smart. I guess they assume he's a nerd, and he is. But yes, he does have a girlfriend. Just so we're clear, like there's a lot of stuff that I created a lot of miscellaneous things for this game. They never
Bro,
see the
hey,
light
I
of
need to
day.
know, bro.
Sometimes they're pieces of concept art just because I want to visually see it happen.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's text. Sometimes it's lots of variations of the script. Sometimes it's VO lines that get thrown away. I've made structures that get deleted. I mean, there was one corpse I made that was so disgusting that we took it out of the game. Like it was too much.
Jeez.
So there's full 3D models of just gore and things that we made to put in the game to see how it looked, and then we delete them. So Sonny's girlfriend never got deleted, but what I didn't get to do was create concept art because it wasn't a main character.
Right.
So a lot of these relationships are things that I
Damn.
know that I never got around to making concept art for because they were never going to be playable. They're not in the game, and it's just lore based. So unfortunately, I don't have this of her,
Okay.
but her name's June.
I was just gonna say, does she have a name?
She does. It's June. And what's funny is I never really got around to deciding what she looked like. But I do know she was very important to Sonny. So if the community wants to take a shot at like creating June,
We need to
what they
see it,
think
buddy.
Sonny's girlfriend looks like. That'd be great, and you can just send it to me. Or
Get on it, folks.
You can send it to Andy or me, or whatever you want to do. But it'd be cool and interesting to see. But she's nerdy like him, and Sonny's into like 2001: The Space Odyssey.
Oh,
like
as am I.
he's into like War of the Worlds.
That's crazy.
and like early
Ed.
Godzilla films. Like he's totally.
He's a 50s sci-fi buff, ain't he?
Yes, but he's got some slick clothes, right?
Right.
So you don't.
He does got the drips,
He
man.
does.
He
so
really does.
You don't really expect that out of him.
Yeah.
But that's where his intelligence level comes in. He's really just a big nerd. And him and June are like these. She gave him a bracelet, so some other items. So some of Sonny's,
Like his medallion. I know he has a
Maybe from
medallion
June.
too.
if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So you ever seen two people that are afraid to like fully commit, but they like each other and they don't know what to do?
A will they, won't they
They're both afraid
relationship.
to like kind of make the first move. That's them.
Yeah.
They're like this cute nerdy couple that doesn't really know what to
typical
do,
will they, won't they.
and they just like adore each other. But that's Sonny. He's such a nerd. But yeah, he does have a girlfriend.
Oh.
Her name is June. I don't know what she looks like.
Well,
I never got around to making her.
I'm going to go on a limb here.
Yeah.
But I'm going to suspect that we will see some fan art of June.
Yeah.
in
Hey,
the
make her
coming
playable,
weeks.
bro.
So,
make her
you know,
playable, bro.
She watches
Never
she watches the
underestimate
movies
this
with him.
community.
Yeah.
They are.
Make her playable,
Sonny's
bro.
really like the biggest sweetheart in the world, like because he's just such a nerd, and
Begins
of course,
with a J
because
like
of that, he
Jordan.
goes with- he's gonna go.
No, it's
right?
interesting. It's
He's not like
interesting.
the toughest guy in the world, but he's definitely gonna go try to find his friend.
Sure.
So he tells June, "Hey, I'll be back."
he may not use his
and that's like the last thing he says to
me,
her.
bro.
I'll be
That's
back.
me.
And
Give me in the
she's
game,
like,
bro.
"Here,
That's
take
me,
this."
bro.
It's jewelry, right?
Yes.
So
play Sonny in a
anyway,
show.
that's Sonny. But yeah, he's just
Now let me stop.
he just is Sonny.
Is there anyone in the original group that he's closest with, like a Leland?
It has to be Maria.
What's funny
It has
is
to be Maria.
Leland is his boy.
So
Oddly enough, they are really, really close.
I ain't gonna lie,
Okay.
bro.
And yeah, it's in that
I
big
fuck
brother
with that.
kind of way,
I
pick
fuck
on
with
you
that.
kind of way. And
Okay.
he's trying to
Fuck
give.
with that.
I always
fuck with
picture
that.
Leland giving Sonny girlfriend advice.
Ah!
Like, come on, dude, just talk to her. Like, what are you waiting on?
Yeah, hey, look.
Imagine like talking to the guy who doesn't want to make a move at all. And Leland's just like, whatever, dude. Come on, bro. Just make a move.
I just visualize.
I need a fucking
visualize
show.
that in my head,
Yeah.
and it's like absolutely perfect.
I need
Because
a- I need
whatever
a TV
advice
show,
you gave him
bro.
would be wrong.
Right?
We've seen that.
Absolutely.
We've seen that in every movie, right? Where it's like, oh, just do this, man, and they do it, and the girl laughs at them, right?
Yeah, you think the wrestling jock from Georgetown, Texas would know, but
And then June kind of laughs at him, like, quit being stupid,
quit listening to
quit
Leland.
being dumb. Where'd you get that at? So that's kind of their dynamic.
Leland told me, well, stop listening to Leland.
Yeah, but I think you can see where that goes.
Yeah, for sure.
But I'd say they're definitely the closest, Leland and Sonny.
That warms my heart.
I had the comment cast me as Sonny,
it's
bro.
cool too because they're kind of in a sense polar opposite. One's kind of a jock, and then or not kind of. He is.
Yeah.
He's an established jock and wrestler in Georgetown, and Georgetown.
Hey, go
Texas.
ahead. Ed.
And
I'm not mad at it.
Sonny's, the one that uses his wits and his brain to beat you, not his muscles. So it's
It's the contrast,
yes,
and that's why it works.
yes.
If there was another nerd, I wouldn't want him and Sonny to be friends.
No,
That'd be obvious.
That'd be
Man.
obvious
Yeah.
in a
Yeah, so a lot of these things I've never just told anyone. These are all these things that
I fuck
help
with this,
define
bro.
the character.
I knew the lore
as we're
went
making
deep.
them,
I knew the lore went
to
deep.
help me figure out who they are.
I want to know more about Connie though.
And he's hearing it for the first time too.
yes.
So
It's very true. I wanted to learn just like as you guys are right now. So, this is so far this is a lot of fun. I'm having a blast, guys. I can't even tell you. Let's move on to Julie.
Yeah, I want to know
I lived
about
in
Julie.
Los Angeles,
Yeah.
in California for 15 years myself. She is a sporty SoCal
yeah,
girl.
you kind of have to be.
Yeah. Voiced by the great Scout Compton.
Yep. Who's also a California type of girl.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
So as far as Julie, let's see what we got here.
what do people want to know about Julie?
Well, I would say from what I see around our community, I feel like she's the one I see most requested more info on. Not, it's not that we haven't tried to give more info, but I feel like that there's a sentiment that, we really need some more. About
I feel like we know the
Julie.
least
What
about
makes
Julie.
her tick, some coming of age moments
Yeah.
to make her who she is and stuff like that.
Jack,
She
come
definitely
on, bro.
has that, because what you see now is like this confident Julie. She's beautiful. She carries herself well.
Yep.
Right. She's tough and strong, and on her appearance, if you just look at her appearance, you would think that she's never had any problems.
Right.
Right. Yeah. Like she
Y'all
looks
fucking with
very
the stream?
confident in the way she carries herself.
Sure.
And even her VO lines are like that. There's not a lot of self-doubt in there. But that wasn't always the case. You know, I always pictured Julie as the girl who got hurt and then recovered and said, no, I've had enough. So, you know, as a freshman, she was dating a senior, and they went to prom, and then he graduated and left and never talked to her again. You know, just
Julie.
left Julie in the dust,
Damn.
went to college, nothing from her.
Julie
just
does look
completely
the
gone. out
Julie
of her
looks the
life.
best.
Well,
I
Like
would
this
say.
happens a lot.
Julie girl, you much better off.
Exactly. So the Julie you see now. So then she tried to find herself. Like, I'm never going to let that happen again. I'm not going to let some dude do that to me ever again. And part of her soundtrack in the playlist, 2 of her favorite songs are about.
Thank you
that.
so much,
They're about
Casey.
overcoming.
Thank you
that
so
and
much.
becoming a new.
I hope to
person.
see you again, man. All
And
love.
Not letting a guy ever do that again. Not a girl or guy.
Sure.
Mess with your
Or
emotions.
girl, guy,
Make
girl.
you feel that way.
Thank you
put
so
you
much,
down.
Casey. Either way.
Use you.
Mhm.
So out comes new Julie out of this world, and she starts dressing more confident in the way that she knows. Like, she's like, okay, I'm going to start showing off. I don't care.
I know who I am.
Yeah, I know who I am.
Yeah.
And I want you to look at me and like me, because you're not getting me, kind of thing.
Hey, W. Julie.
Right? And that plays into her relationship with Leland.
They're talking
where-
about college, bro.
So
They're
when you
talking
get
about
to him, you
college.
ask me
These are
about
college
him and
guys.
Julie.
Yeah. Well, we can.
Julie
Jack.
does like him, but she's not ready. She's trying to make him earn it, kind of.
Yeah.
Like, no, I've been down this road before. I dated the king of the school, and he left
Yep.
me in the dust after he took me to prom. Like, you could be that same thing. And that's what she sees in Leland. So
So
she
the-
likes him.
So Julie and
She
Leland,
likes
huh?
him, but there's still that little
Julie and
fear
Leland,
doubt
huh?
in the back of her head.
Yeah,
though.
because she doesn't want to commit. Like, she doesn't want to be like, yeah, I'm in it, and then be afraid to
I
get hurt.
fuck with this, bro.
So Julie is very closed off for that reason, because she's like, no, I don't want to go back to that. And if I put up this wall, I feel like we're in a soap opera here, but if I put up this wall, you can't hurt me.
the days of the Texas
Yes.
Chainsaw Massacre.
Yes. So that's her story and how she kind of evolved into the Julie you see now, which is why I really wanted Scout to do her voice, because
Yeah, when she did a
Scout
hell
is
of a
super
job.
confident.
Oh, yeah.
If you've ever been around Scout, she's confident. You would never know if something like that happened to her,
Right.
right? And I'm
That
sure,
man
like
Jack is
everyone, it has.
tweaking, bro.
It's what you see now, and that's the new Julie. So yeah, her relationship with Leland is a little weird. She does like him, and she wants to do that, but she's still trying to figure out if he's going to hurt her.
Is there a love triangle?
Just trying to make him?
Julie likes
Learning?
Leland. Does Connie
knowing
also like
more?
Leland? Where does
But he's
Connie
like,
fit
no,
into
he
all
loves her,
this?
like, he's all in, but
Jules.
she's like, hold up,
Not so fast.
I know, yeah.
Ed, what are you talking
So,
about?
A lot of Julie came from that little relationship moment. So when
Yeah.
we designed her character, confident, strong, she's like stamina.
Yeah.
Like she plays sports. She's got the confidence
Sure.
there. So we just needed to know how she got to that part. And she got there by being stepped on and kind of used by this guy. So there was, fall for the high school senior.
I hope. Can't blame her for feeling that way.
Yeah.
You really can't. That's a good segue into Leland.
Yeah. So what do you got for Leland? What do we got?
Let's see. Let's take a peek. I know there was a hub post that came out a couple years ago that Matt Chacha wrote, and it was a great piece on him. It talks about, he was kind of the king of the world in the wrestling days at Georgetown High School. He kind of, he was on that pedestal. He was a really
Yeah.
good wrestler. And then there's was once he got to the University of Texas, was there kind of this transition for him? Was it a weird transition for him, I guess? Because you're far away. I mean, it's not that you're far away from home, but going to the University of
Yeah.
Texas, leaving Georgetown, there's a difference there.
Yeah, Georgetown's probably 20 miles. So
Okay.
30 minutes away.
Yeah.
So it's now they probably almost consider it a suburb of Austin, but it's not. It's a different city.
Leland is the
For
GOAT.
Leland-
I ain't gonna cap.
If you haven't guessed, not a lot of characters in the game have a happy ending. So I don't know if you put that 2 and 2 together, but
Wait, they're called victims, right?
yes. So even their life has a lot of that. Their backstory has a lot of that. So yes, he wrestled in high school, and like many people in high school who play sports and they're really good, doesn't mean you're going to be able to play at the next level. So here you have this super confident guy, Leland, who has had to work for it.
Yeah.
Like you don't just get handed that. That's
Sure.
years and years of training to be a good wrestler, and then he figures out he can't go to college and wrestle because he's not good enough. Like being good enough in a small, being the best in a pond is not the same as the ocean.
Definitely.
So
bro.
he can't go wrestle. So now he has to go through college trying to find himself again. Every bit of his identity was wrestling in high school, and now he's just Leland.
So is it-
He's the guy who used to be Leland.
Yeah,
If that
so
makes sense.
No, absolutely, it makes sense. So it's safe to say that
He peaked, man.
when
He peaked in high school.
Got to college. There were some confidence issues going on.
Yeah,
for him.
and he doesn't know who he is anymore, and he's trying to find himself. One thing that people don't know, and part of Leland came from, like, I love a show called Friday Night Lights. I love the movie as well. I've seen it about 150 times, but I've seen the show, every episode, about 1,000. It's my comfort show. I put it on and watch it. There's a character named Tim Riggins, who, if you Google him, you'll
Steve from Stranger Things.
and half the guys will.
Ed, what do you mean translation?
Anyway.
What the fuck?
He graduates. He's like the star, but after that, nothing. And one girl says to him one time, "Aren't you the guy who used to be Tim Riggins?"
Jeez.
And he's like, "I'm still Tim Riggins." Or how's it feel to be the guy who used to be Tim Riggins, right?
Right.
Because he was so popular and such a star, and now he's not.
Damn.
And that's Leland a little bit. That's what do you do after you have nothing? Everything you've had is gone, and you just have to exist. And you've had your whole identity just not taken, but you lost it in a way. So
Yeah.
and now he sees Julie, and he likes her, and he's not used to that. He's not used to a girl telling him no. He's not used to
Yeah.
some beautiful girl like Julie saying,
Yeah.
Hey, you're
He's
not
used
that
to
guy,
rejection.
pal. You're
He's
not that
He's
guy.
not used to being the best wrestler on the.
yeah, he's not used to losing.
Yeah.
He's not used to rejection. But in a way, he's just as fragile as anybody. And that's why I needed him to fail at college so that he can just be Leland and not
Yeah.
just continue that star wrestler, has it all. I needed him to get turned down by Julie a little bit, just in my head to help define the character
I like that.
and to give Julie more power, to keep that power dynamic of try this again, keep going. One day
Hey,
when
they
I
need to
think
give
you've
us a
earned it enough,
fucking
we'll
TV
go
show,
out.
bro, with this writing. I ain't gonna cap, bro.
Right. So that's Leland in a way. It's, just a high school kid who had it all and just has slowly realized it's over.
Yeah.
Which, believe me, that's not just related to athletes.
Yeah.
That's half the kids that go to college, whether you're in band
Oh, absolutely.
or you studied art in high school or whatever it is. And you
Oh, yeah.
figure
No,
out
I
when you
can
go to
relate.
college.
I don't
you-
look like it now, but I was
Yeah.
a really good athlete in high school.
And then when you go to college, and it's either maybe you do make a team and when you ride the bench.
Yeah.
Maybe you're the worst player on the team now when you were the best player in high school. Yeah.
I can relate. I was humbled.
We're both sitting here for that reason.
Yeah, absolutely. I
shit.
can totally relate to Leland. Is one last thing on
Ronnie
Leland.
calls Leland his college
back to the-
career.
Him and Sonny. He and Sonny
Yeah.
being very tight. When he was going through these transitions and these confidence issues, did he speak to Sonny about that?
Oh, yeah. And what's funny is Sonny is like, dude, why you listen to you complain? You had it all, dude. What are you talking about? Like, I've been on like 2 days my whole life. Right.
Yeah.
So it's like, why am I helping you?
I love that friendship
You
dynamic.
know, it's like, it's totally just this dynamic of, why are you complaining?
Right.
You've had it all. I've never had it. And there's that dynamic back and forth where it is funny to hear like Sonny in my head talk to Leland and like give him advice.
What is?
Because now
Bro.
Leland, in a way, is on a level playing field
Yes.
with Sonny, and he's not used to it. So
That because it's gotta be so unique for each of them. Like, Sonny, what do you mean you're coming to me?
yeah, I should be coming to you.
What are you talking about?
Yeah.
bro?
So it's very weird, kind of funny dynamic between the two.
I love that
Yeah.
so much.
It's very unexpected. I'm sure people didn't expect them to be friends.
I didn't. I literally didn't, bro.
You can make a whole show out of them too.
We need it.
Yeah.
Make the show, bro.
All right, let's move on to our next victim.
Connie?
Connie. From farm town in Illinois. Illinois, right? I got that right, don't I?
You are correct.
Yeah.
Paris, Illinois,
Yeah,
not
Paris.
Paris, France.
Yeah, Paris, Illinois. Farm
It's a real
town.
place.
Yeah, it is
Didn't
a real
know.
place.
Not much there.
Not
but
And so that probably put her in a little bit of a box growing up, a little bit.
Yeah, I think when people think of farm girl, like, oh, she wasn't oppressed.
Right.
She wasn't like, oh, it's the preacher's daughter or the farmer's daughter. She has to rebel. That was never her, and that was never her relationship with her parents. So it wasn't like, I have to be a good girl, so when I get to college, I'm gonna be bad. It wasn't that dynamic. It was just, I spent time growing up on a farm, and she's in the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a 30-minute drive just to see her friends, like to get to the school. If you grow up on a farm and you have to work physically, like manual labor for everything. Hey, fix this, fix that, fix this. And
Nah, that's
you're relying
bro.
on your crops or whatever to buy you things, right?
Sure.
It's a hard life.
No, we cannot get a
And
redneck
that's
victim.
what
Why do you
kinda
want a
gives her-
redneck victim, my guy? Hold up.
Her ingenuity of how she can fix things, and she's very crafty and smart. So even though she's this stunningly beautiful girl, like she's got that work ethic, and she can just be covered in dirt and be okay with it because she knows like the value of hard work and growing up on a farm. But it was never, my dad won't let me date, or my dad won't let me do this. I can't wait to leave.
Okay.
It's more about just imagining her thinking, is there more out there? Right. A lot of
Self-discovery, if you will.
yeah, a lot of small town kids you don't get to see. You see movies, you see magazines, like there's another world out there for me. If I can just get to college in a big city, I can get my life going. And really that's Connie.
That sounds
just
like Pearl wanting to
get out and explore and
explore
get her
the
life
world, man.
moving. She feels like, okay, I got to get out of this farm. It's not because she hates it.
Yeah.
It's not because she feels like her dad's like, be home by 8. It's not that at all. Like, perfect relationship with her parents. She loves
Yeah,
them.
I
It's just,
like
gotta get
that.
out of
It
here.
gives more depth to her
Can't wait to go
ability.
to college because I know there's something more in this world for me.
Can totally relate.
So normally that'd be a happy story.
Yeah.
Like I said,
Sure.
like she works hard, does all the right things, gets to go to college, her dream school, gets to go to Austin, big city, infinite possibilities. Her whole life's ahead of her, and then just kind of made the wrong friends. Right.
It's bound to happen.
But yeah, so that's Connie. And, people always ask, I was never going to say this because it's just for me personally, but people want to know who her boyfriend is.
Okay. Yeah.
Actually,
I see it all the time.
She likes a girl. There's a girl in her high school that she
Wait.
really likes. And
Go Connie.
she did. And
Wait, how old is Connie?
she had to leave her behind. That was her girlfriend didn't get to come.
W representation.
So Connie had to choose. Stay behind.
Hey, thank you, Ed. Thank you so much, bro.
Stay
For real.
behind for your high school sweetheart and derail your life, or do you leave them? And that's Connie's story, but she's been trying to get out of this forever.
W
And
representation, man.
she had another guy she was interested in too, but she just became friends with this girl, and it grew into more.
What?
than
Who's
that.
the guy though?
They
Safe to say
just
she
did
fell
each
in love
other.
with this girl?
She did,
Yeah.
and then she had to make the decision to leave her.
Damn.
So once again, all of our characters have to do something. Their stories all have an
A
underlying
war
tone.
veteran as a victim.
Either try to have some self-sacrifice. You have to do. this,
Connie's
you have to overcome
bisexual.
this,
Connie's
Or they get
bisexual.
hurt. There's no clean victory here for anyone.
Nah,
So
I
really,
don't think
that's
I don't
Connie
think he's
having
sad.
to
I
be
don't think he's sad.
One of the few people behind that she likes and trusts.
She's
you know,
20. Okay.
just to continue living her life.
Yep.
So, and that happens, I think, every day.
I can't see the chat right now, but I'm gonna guess it's exploding.
About Connie.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
So
I like that about her.
okay, good. Yeah. So Connie is not maybe I don't know what people thought, but she's definitely maybe not that. So yeah, I
love that.
visually, I wanted her to blend in and to just obviously she's beautiful and she's just perfect, everything about her. But I wanted something more than that. That's why she is very, very good at picking locks. And she's got that homemade skill of overcome. Hey, fix the tractor. Hey, fix this. Hey, our fence fell down. We got to fix it. We can't hire
Right.
anyone to make it.
Right.
She's completely tough, but she may not look like it.
Yeah.
She's not, wearing overalls or something like you would expect.
Poor guy still heartbroken
So
by
I like the
his
contrast of her.
high school sweetheart
of her
Dave. He
beauty
lost
versus
her
what
to
she
a
can
girl,
actually
then
do.
made her into a character.
she could
Oh,
put up a fence and I
nah,
couldn't.
bro.
Nor can I.
Right.
Nah.
So I love that dynamic. She kind of reminded me of like Jodie Foster a little bit.
Oh,
when
love that.
when I was thinking of her character.
Okay.
About
Oh, wow.
sorry, I never told
I-
you that.
Light bulb just went up.
So like Jodie Foster has that beauty, but she's also tough.
yes.
And that's kind of part of her vision I had for Connie, a little bit
Awesome.
of, because I've always loved her and I felt she
Same.
always plays these tough characters, like even like in Silence of the Lambs.
Yeah.
We
Right.
need the sheriff.
Just 'cause it
We're-
came on
I
the
think
day
after the
responsible,
lore
but
is done, we're gonna
was like,
get
yeah.
sequel characters
That's what I wanted.
and all these
a
legacy
little bit
characters.
of. But I also needed her to make the
That is
sacrifice
super
of a
cool.
little bit, not just I'm going to college. I needed her to leave something behind,
Sure.
so that it meant more. So yeah, there's Connie. I really don't know what
Damn.
this girl looks like though that she likes.
Okay.
So once
Well,
again,
community.
well, I do know that people love creating fan art.
Yeah.
So
Lincoln Clay's
you know,
victim.
anyway, I would
Always
definitely not,
keep-
I definitely wouldn't turn down seeing fan art
I would not.
of anyone we mentioned today. So
Does her girlfriend from high school have a name? No name?
mm-mm. Sure doesn't.
Well,
Because at that point they didn't want people to know, so I was never going to say it.
That
Yeah.
makes
'Cause it
sense.
was kind of a secret.
that's cool.
So
Cap off Connie. Is there
Why do they
someone-
want
Kinda the same
Leland and
question
Johnny
for
to
that.
like
No.
be
Yeah, for saying, is
dating
anyone
so
in the
bad,
group
bro?
that she's the
Why do
tightest
I
with
keep
or
seeing
anything
comments in the
like
chat?
that?
Anna,
Anna?
but she doesn't. They're so far away.
Is
She appreciates. I mean, obviously Maria.
Yeah.
But she sees some of herself in Anna and Maria. Because she knows where they come from. She knows how hard they had to work to get here.
right.
She relates to them on a mental level because of that.
Yeah.
Like-
And plus of Anna kind of planning this whole thing to go
Yeah.
find Maria, and they had that road trip there.
Yeah.
Safe to say,
And
there
Connie's
was,
like,
there
I'm-
was that.
I'm
That's my
coming.
girl.
Yeah, because Connie does talk to Maria. I mean, to
Yeah.
Anna, they'll
Sure.
call each other.
Got
and
it.
Stuff. She'll say, "Hey, Maria, how's your sister?" And so it's a kind of a little sister relationship. But she does see a lot of herself in Maria and Anna. So yeah,
I love it.
they share some of the same traits.
All right.
Yeah,
Well.
and we may actually have more questions for these characters at the end. I
Yes.
can't remember.
Yeah, we
so
may.
If we went over your favorite character and you didn't get what you wanted, your question may be at the end. I don't know.
Yeah, we'll
So,
see. All right, moving on to Anna.
Anna, yeah. So
you touched about
Okay.
Go ahead. Just I know how much this character
yeah.
means to you.
So anyway,
go
once
for it.
again, when I was traveling around the towns, and I found consistent themes between Maria and Anna and real life people that
Yep.
were there. I knew I wanted the younger sister to try to save the older sister,
Yeah.
and to be courageous and brave. I just love that. And a lot of people don't know that Anna, you're going to be floored. She's a cheerleader.
I didn't see that coming. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie, bro. I
Anna's a
didn't see
cheerleader,
that coming.
So,
Really?
yep. for the
That's
football
funny.
team. Didn't think Anna was a cheerleader, did you?
No.
I know.
Not at all.
Hell no.
And of all the fan art I've ever seen of her, I've never seen anyone, or even the backstories, think that she was a cheerleader.
That's funny.
Her boyfriend was a star player on the football team.
Okay.
He went away to college and left her. He got a scholarship. She can't go. He said, "Come
Damn.
with me." She's like, "Where am I going to live? I can't live in your dorm with you.
Yeah.
And I don't want to hold you back."
Yep.
So once again, Anna, who lost
Damn.
her dad,
Yep.
a couple years earlier, her and Maria did. Her sister goes to college. Her family saves up money to send Maria to college.
She's
partial
just stuck
scholarship, but
there.
Family had to spend money. Anna loses her boyfriend, who abandons her as well and leaves. She too chooses not to go with him, and now she's still just stuck at home.
Stuck, bro.
And she has no prospects.
That's fucking tough.
And doesn't know what she's going to do with her life at all. So she's seen all these people leave her life.
That's
So
tough.
she's had years of working hard, obviously, to try to help Maria, because Maria's working to support her, and she's also trying to work, but she's a couple years younger, right? So you got this younger sister who is looking around, going, "When's it my turn?" And it ain't, and it's never her turn.
Poor.
And,
I ain't
and
gonna
that's
lie.
I love
that's-
Anna so much.
that's
Thinking
part of,
about how this
like I said, they don't
story
have
may
endings.
end, Anna might
Life
have the
doesn't have that.
saddest story, bro.
and it certainly doesn't have it for these characters. So, that's just, she can't even get to the next stage. At least Maria gets to go to college. Connie got to go to college, right? All these characters who in our story meet at college.
Right.
Anna is just still at
Damn.
home, trying to figure out what to do next. Do I work and try to save up? Do I go to a different college if I can? Like, what do I do? I've graduated now.
We know she's tough physically, and she's definitely tough mentally.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
this had to affect her a little bit mentally.
Yeah.
You know, and
I mean,
that process of all, you know, I mean, she can't pursue any passions, goals, you know, like, you know.
yeah. What are you going to do?
Yeah, and
It's a small town. So,
like, for instance, Maria's passion was photography. Does Anna have a passion like that?
Anna's
You know,
whole existence was cheerleading and being there for her boyfriend and watching him get better and better and better at football. They even won the state title 5 months before our game takes place, because that's when the high school football
Bro, can
playoffs
we get a
start.
fucking show?
Which the Uvalde Coyotes really did win the state title that year, and that's their high school. So I was standing on that field one day taking photos, and I looked up and saw the state championship sign.
I would never approach
I was like,
Sissy, bro.
holy
She
crap.
has no fucking shoes on.
1972 state champions. I had no idea.
that's wild.
And I was like, wow. So not only did her boyfriend play on the team, but
Yeah.
he won a state title, which helps get you recruiting. And
Yeah.
so
absolutely.
she gets to watch him grow up and get better and get more attention. But that also, she's happy for him, but at the same time, that means he's leaving her. So it's a weird relationship.
What do y'all think
She
about
wants
the
him to
lore?
succeed,
What do
but
y'all
that
think
also
so
means
far?
He's getting out of town. He's going to college. And it's going to be far away. And he's like, yeah, come with me. And that's not how that works.
No.
You know, where's she going to live? Off campus? How's she going to pay for it? So she goes and gets some crappy job, and while he's traveling around playing football, and you know,
Bro.
she was willing to do that. And he was like, or he wanted to do that, and she was like, no, I can't drag you down. Because she doesn't even. She's still thinking about herself in that moment, even though her sisters left her
Yeah.
and their dad died. She's still thinking about Anna. You know, so she's
Jeez,
still,
man.
you know, she was still in that town. And then she gets the courage. You know what? I'm not feeling sorry for myself. I got to go find my sister.
Yep.
So all those things would normally maybe take a person and make
And a
them not
little,
wanna help.
like, she legitimately gives me
I'm just
final
gonna
girl
stay here
energy,
and
man.
Figure it out. They're on their own kind of thing. But no, even despite all that, she's like, no, I'm going to go find my sister. So that's Anna's stuff.
A lot of
Damn.
sacrifices from Anna.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
It's kind of what you had to do. I mean, she didn't really have a choice. You know.
Yeah, other than let her sister die,
Yeah.
right? Or not go look for her,
Yeah.
right? Or drag her boyfriend back. No, you're not going to college.
No.
Right? So,
Yeah.
you know, she stayed back behind with her mother. She makes a sacrifice to go, no, I'm going to stay
Yeah.
with mom too. Because now she feels
I
guilty. for
can't
leaving her
help
mother.
but, like, think
Maria gets to
about
leave.
the fact that we
That is a lot.
might see
But
these
on the
characters make an
shoulders for a
appearance.
girl her age.
Yeah.
You know.
So she's like, do I just
Like,
do
all
I
these
leave my
characters,
mom
these
as well?
side characters sound very interesting to me.
You know, so that's poor Anna.
that is poor Anna.
Yeah. So now
And-
you like her more.
Yeah.
But yeah, cheerleading, people didn't know that.
Well.
And I almost put it in her bio, but I didn't. I took it out because I didn't want
Yeah.
that to be there.
Yeah.
I didn't want that to be her identity.
Well. I don't sound
So-
like a broken record, but I would expect some fan art.
If there's not cheerleading,
Cheerleader Anna.
if there's not an Anna cheerleader fan art tomorrow,
What do you mean?
I'm be
Before the
upset.
stream's over, the
well,
next 20,
maybe they're
30
at
minutes.
work watching. I
Yeah,
don't know.
somebody's working on it right now.
All right.
Okay.
Let's move on to our last victim.
Danny.
Our newest one, yes, Danny.
Yeah.
Love his backstory, and I'm excited to hear more about Danny.
Yes, the more characters, the better.
I really, what we know about him, I think, struck a chord with a lot of folks in the community.
Yeah.
You know, growing up.
In a foster home.
Foster
Yeah.
home, yeah.
People are like, what happened to his parents? And
Yeah. What was his
you know, his mom
relationship
left.
with Maria like?
his mom left him, and his dad was a drunk. So eventually, he got taken away
Wow.
and put into a home. And there's no good story for Danny,
No.
other than, yeah, he still did well. There's programs within foster programs that let you go to school, right? They pay for your college, so that's a thing that happens. So he gets to go to college, but that's at the expense of his shitty life,
Yep.
right? So it's like, yeah, I get to go to college, but only because of how shitty my life had been.
Wow.
And the people had left me.
Sure.
So, yeah, he's got no real parents to speak of. He's not well equipped to handle things in life all the time, but he is handy. Like he knows how to do things with his hands. He knows how to fix things. He's into cars and things like that. So
These
he
motherfuckers have
he's
some
a hardworking
tragic
kid.
ass
He's
fucking
just never had the support,
backstory.
the family support, because they've been pieces of crap.
He's a tough SOB.
He's a tough son of a bitch, right?
He is.
So, and he gets to go to college. And then when he meets Maria, that's when, because of her dad passing, they kind of find some comfort in each other. So he meets them because I think immediately he met Leland, like in that group.
Okay.
And, you know, because, hey, tough guy wrestler, blah, blah. And they, you know, they're just hanging out, being bros. And then that's when Leland meets Maria. Danny's like, who's that? She's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. Come on, dude. Hook me up, right? Like, so that when they met and
And that
started
man
talking about their
Leland is a
backstory,
wingman, bro.
immediately,
W wingman.
you can just tell. You see it in their eyes. You know, they just knew.
Yeah.
You know, those are things you can't hide, right? So he knew what she had been through, and she knew what he'd been through. So they immediately clicked. So yeah, her and Danny met because of their tragedy, I would say.
Yeah.
You know,
That linked them together.
yes, it gave them a reason to keep chatting. Right. So where are you from? Where'd you go to school? And he's like, well, I did, but I didn't. Where you live? And she keeps prodding and prodding and prodding. And finally, he's like, listen, I ain't really got a home. Right. I came from a boys' home, and my parents left me. Is that what you want to hear? Like, because, you know, she's interested in him, and she wanted to know all about him. What's your parents' name? You know, blah, blah, blah. Right?
Yeah.
Because that's what you do when you meet someone. You're
Of
excited
course.
to get to know them.
Of course.
And then she's like, oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. And then she's like, well, my dad passed away too. And so there's that link.
Nah, that's fun.
Yeah.
So-
And her opening up
I like that.
probably allowed
Yeah.
Danny to open
This
up.
would go so
Yeah, so then
fucking bananas as a
people
movie, bro, or
also
a
wanna
limited
know
series.
how he got
Somebody pick this up.
to the-
This nigga
to
Ronnie is
Sarah,
cooking,
or
bro.
to,
What
Nancy's
the
place.
fuck?
Yes.
And how he didn't go.
Yeah, and I've also seen why he didn't go on the wildfire.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. So why didn't he go on the wildfire trip?
Wildfire?
It's because he didn't think to do
You don't
it.
expect
You don't expect the person that you're seeing to never come back.
Yeah.
To drive around towns and take pictures of wildflowers, you wouldn't think, I better go with you and safeguard you.
Yeah.
Right? So it's one of those things where you say goodbye to people you love every day,
bro.
and you
Yeah.
expect them to come home.
Yeah.
It's like, I'll be back in a couple of days. And he's like, want me to go with you? He's like, oh, no.
Yeah.
No, don't worry about it. I needed to take photos. I want to do it. It's like a me trip.
Yep.
You know, I want to just exist. And he's like, okay, that's why. There's really no crazy reason other than the fact that
He was
didn't-
just letting
he
his, his girlfriend just was
it's not
going on a
it's
trip.
not a dangerous trip.
Yeah.
It's just driving around
Taking pictures of some
hill
wildflowers.
country,
Yeah.
taking pictures like people do every
Yep.
year during that time.
Yep.
But the reason he's not with the group of kids
On the road trip. Yeah.
when they go to find, because he already left.
So he left before
Yeah.
our other victims.
That is
'cause he wasn't gonna
interesting.
wait.
Wow.
Anna's like, I'm coming. I'll be there in a day or so. And he's like, I'm not waiting. I'm going there now.
So he,
I don't care. I'll meet you there.
wow.
Right? I'm not waiting. My girl's missing.
Yeah.
I've waited long
I didn't
enough.
Don't blame
expect
him. I would've
that.
done the same
So he
thing.
came
So,
across Nancy
if
before
you
they even
notice
came
on
across
Nancy's
anyone
map,
else.
Behind her house is a salvage yard. Okay.
Mhm.
So Matt can attest to this. One trip in particular in Texas, we noticed a lot of houses that were houses, but behind them were either junkyards or salvage yards.
Yeah.
And that's a typical, like if you look up junkyard or salvage yard, it's usually owned by like a family or something in a small town. It wasn't always a place of business. It was a family who started a business, who lives in the house, and now behind them, hey, yeah, go back there and look if you need a fender or something for your car. So Danny knows that her car was found.
Nah, he's
He
a
knows
real
the
one.
police found her car,
This nigga's a real one,
but
bro.
he doesn't know where it's at. And the police aren't talking to him about the investigation. So in his mind, he thinks if I check salvage yards, maybe her car's there. And maybe I can find something in it if I can sneak
Now, this
in.
nigga Danny's an actual goat,
So
bro.
there's only a couple salvage yards in town. Obviously, the family's not dumb enough to leave her car there because they don't have it anyway. But in his mind, he's like, okay, where can I find clues? Where do I even start?
Yeah.
If no one's helping me,
Yeah.
you know, he didn't go to the gas station first. Like he just went in town and they're like, yeah, the salvage yard out on 402. He sees her house. He sees the backyard, obviously.
Salvage yard.
So he knocks on the door and is like, have you seen this girl? You know, and then that was going to lead to, yeah, I'm looking for her car also, blah, blah.
Right.
So really that's how Danny makes that connection.
That nigga
It's
Danny's a
prayer.
real
It's a shot
one,
in the
bro.
dark. Yeah, it's a shot in the dark on, he doesn't even know if it's going to work. So
Yeah.
He leaves before the rest of the kids because he
Jeez.
refuses to wait. So
I think it's time to move on to family.
let's do it.
All right, let's roll through. Let's go. This question I believe was from someone. Who's the most sympathetic of the family?
You got to be
The
Cook.
Cook.
I knew it. I
Yes.
knew it. I knew
I
it.
mean, I think
knew
most
it.
people would agree that the Cook,
I knew it,
because he
yeah.
shows it in the original film.
Yep.
He even tries to warn the guys, Jerry and Kirk.
Yeah.
You don't want to take those girls around that house, right? He tries to talk them out of it because he just doesn't want the trouble,
Yeah.
right? And he feels
Doesn't
sorry
want the
for
trouble.
the girls
Doesn't
in a
want to
way.
clean up the mess.
And I don't think he feels sorry for the guys. I think he's like, don't take those girls up around that house. They don't want to be there.
I might have to watch the movie
So
again
he's the
tonight
most
in
sympathetic.
Discord.
But why
Because
does
he's the old-
why does he show the most animosity towards the rest of the family?
So yeah, that's another question. Why is the Cook? Because he's dealing with a bunch of idiots.
bunch of bullshit.
If you're 70 years old or whatever the age is, and you've been dealing with these idiots for the last however old they are, so imagine like a dad
Well,
who's just-
that Johnny upside his gone don't.
who's just had enough, or a grandpa who's had enough, or anybody
yeah,
who's just
yeah,
had
yeah.
enough of all the idiots that are around him. So
I get
if it's
that.
not the hitchhiker causing problems, running around doing God knows what,
Yeah.
hitchhiking around, digging up people. Every time he comes home from the gas station, he's got to figure out what the hell happened.
Yep.
He's got Leatherface at home. He's got Grandpa at home. Like, it's a circus. And now he's got Sissy and Johnny. Johnny's out doing God knows what.
Jeez, man.
He can't rely on Nancy to,
No.
like, control him.
No.
So that's
Sissy
why
might
he has
be
such
fucking
animosity. because he's
cooked
tired
in
of
the
dealing
head,
with
bro.
it.
Like Sissy
So
has
every
to.
one of his voice lines.
I can't wait to
mostly
hear
are
her more about her
in
backstory.
that funny, and it's in the movie too. Like,
Yeah.
all those
Oh,
VO
yeah.
lines of the Cook yelling at Hitchhiker and Leatherface.
Yep.
That theme we carried over because we didn't want to change his character, and I was never going to step on Kim's
Give me one
characters
second,
like
y'all.
that. And all of a sudden, the Cook likes the Hitchhiker.
Sure.
So I kept that consistent with the film, and it makes him funny.
Yeah.
But in the reality is, he would be upset because they're idiots.
Well, and truth be told, you just said it. He is. I mean, I don't know what that says about me, but the Cook was my favorite character. From
Yeah,
the
'cause he's
original
funny.
film. He's funny as hell.
Yeah, his one-liners are funny, and even in the second movie, he's got tons of
Oh God.
dealing with Chop Top and the hit.
Yeah. Absolutely.
He's like he can never catch a break.
Oh.
And really, that's why the Cook is so fed up.
Yeah.
He's just trying to run the gas station. Yeah, they're eating people,
Yeah.
but at the end of the day, it's a business, and he's trying to run a business,
And business is good.
and he's got idiots. He's surrounded by idiots. So, in a nice way, right?
of course.
Every day is something new. So he's had enough.
Yeah.
So that's why he's so mad.
Well,
I wouldn't want it any other way.
we're gonna break down. Let's break down the three original family members that we have that
Yeah.
you
Yeah.
created here. We got about probably 20 minutes or so left. I don't want to rush through this, but at the same time, we are kind of on a clock here. Let's start off with Sissy. I know she's one you had a
Yeah.
blast with her conception, and there's a lot of mystery and unknown things about
Yeah.
her, and that's
Yeah,
kind of
because I remember
how
they
it's
said Sissy
supposed
like
to be, is
joined
the
like
way
this
I've
cult
always understood
or
it.
something.
But man, just speak at length on Sissy and give us any.
Yeah. So
That already happened, Jay. The
So
update's been
Sissy
out.
came from Kim's character Bible. He had a name and he had a paragraph. So if you don't know about Kim's character Bible, it's a book. We call it the character Bible.
Yeah.
Of all the characters he's created for the franchise, especially the first film, and all the characters that you never saw in the first film.
So this character Bible goes back legit 50 years.
Oh yeah, and there's a lot of characters he wrote for the first film that aren't in the film,
Right.
and no one knows about them.
Yep.
Unless you've seen this character book.
Mhm.
In there was the name Sissy Sunshine Slaughter, and a paragraph about a family member who rebelled against the family, got caught up in the LSD craze 60s, rebelled against the family, and hitchhiked and went around like all the other kids in the Woodstock movement, in that whole freedom,
Yeah.
go find yourself movement that the teenagers or 20-year-olds at that time went through.
Sure.
So she got caught up in that, and honestly, she's tired of being, what are you doing today? Blah, blah, the Cook yelling at her. So she's a free spirit anyway. So she's looking for a way out. So that was all we had for Sissy, was that one paragraph. And it was at that point where we obviously, I got to come up with the design, what she looks like, what she's wearing, her personality.
Sure.
So, yeah, I took Kim's name and a paragraph and created Sissy from that. And I love the idea that she was a drifter and that she was doing stuff the hitchhiker was doing, but far away
Right.
and not as crazy, at least on the surface.
That's
So
for sure.
we needed a really, really beautiful face, which is where Kelly Mittendorf came in.
Oh,
I wanted her to be beautiful so that she could hitchhike and people would pick her up. You know, so she uses truck drivers to get around. She knows how to use people when she needs to.
Yeah.
And she's walking along, hitchhiking. A trucker's going to pick her up, right? So slowly over time, that doesn't always work out for him because she appears normal. And then
Nigga
3
said
minutes
Charles
after
Manson
talking to her,
DLC.
you make
These
the
some of
wrong
these
move,
niggas just cooked, bro. Y'all not even
try to
paying
put your
attention.
hand on her leg. All of a sudden, you find yourself with your throat slit. Right, so there were bodies that were being found along the way of I-40.
carnage.
Yeah, there's a radio broadcast about the terror of I-40, and they're talking about
Give me.
Sissy,
I'll be back, guys. Hold on.
and it's the I-40 corridor between Texas and California, where she had traveled. And
Yeah.
there's even people that survived. That there's a radio broadcast about a survivor who had an encounter with her, and they have descriptions of her, and like people at truck stops would be, "Watch out for this girl." She became a thing, but they really couldn't catch her.
A
So
lot harder back then to do
yes,
so.
like a lot of people,
Yeah.
Spawn Ranch was a well-known thing.
Yeah.
It wasn't a
It was.
secret. There were a lot of people that came and went from that place. There were kids there.
Yeah.
Like it's not just the people that committed the murders.
It was a large community.
Yes, there was a lot. There was a large community, and Sissy was just one of those a few people that were there, or one of the many, I guess. And you know, she left before the murders happened, so she was there
Okay.
in the community while they were creating songs and doing all that, and you know, there when he had his visions of grandeur about all these things, and but like Sissy, she can't conform. So even in that scenario, Sissy cannot be controlled. So there was a lot of friction and fighting, and she had to leave. So that's why she didn't hang out there for all those years. And thank God she left before the murders, or she wouldn't be back home. She may have been caught.
Sure.
So, and then she bounced
She
around a
would've been.
couple more places after that. But that was the backstory we have for Sissy. And that's where her singing the Manson songs came from. We knew she was there during the time period when they were coming up with the songs and singing around the fire,
Yeah.
doing crazy kumbaya, right?
Yeah.
So we knew that she knew the songs. So that was kind of how that personality kicked in and where we got that from. But yeah, then she eventually had to come back home.
Yeah.
Because she ran out of places to go. And now she's back home with the family. So
And she's back home. And last thing on her, I'm assuming this probably happened when she got back home. But do you want to give us a little bit of the backstory of how she even obtained this bride sissy
Oh.
dress?
yeah, so just like her normal dress, that
I'm
she's
back,
wearing
I'm
right
back, I'm
now,
back.
She took that from a person that she killed. So Sissy was not getting married.
Sissy based.
There's a poor dead woman somewhere who was getting married and ran into Sissy in their house. Sissy kills her and just goes through her stuff and says, "Look at this pretty dress," and then puts it on and imagines that's her getting married. So bride Sissy is not.
It's not like it's her wedding day or
No, it's a dress
Yeah.
she took from a person she murdered.
Got it.
So there's one less bride and wife in the world because of Sissy. So that's where that idea came from with her dress. And Rob, we have some old photos
Yeah.
of Sissy. So along the way,
Ooh, okay, bet.
like I said, I create lots of stuff
Yeah.
that I don't use, or Sissy evolved over time from looking certain ways into the way that she looks now.
Sure.
And that occurred over the course of a couple of years. You want to pull up like Sissy, Rob?
Here we go.
Oh wow.
Well, this is a new one. But yeah, so you can clearly see the wedding dress there. So these were some dress variations, and you're
What
probably
the
looking at her
fuck?
leg.
What the fuck is wrong with her
What
leg?
the
That's a
hell?
Is
prosthetic.
that like a mechanical
That's
leg?
that's yes. That's a prosthetic leg.
That is cool.
And at one point in her early conception, this has Kelly's face on it, which came later because we wanted to see what it looked like. But we felt that was too close to Vilmer.
Yeah.
So if you're wondering
Yeah.
why Sissy has a mechanical leg or a prosthetic leg, it's
I like
because
that.
At one point, we thought that might be cool, but then that would take away from her. Maybe, I mean, it's tough traveling, and,
Yeah,
you know, and
yeah.
stuff like that. So we didn't want her to that be her identity.
Sure.
I think
What do y'all
it
think?
would be it's more descriptive.
Yeah.
right? So we kind of, and honestly, Kim was like, that's too much, too close to Vilmer. So we took that off, but it shows you some variations, and I wanted to show you because there's the bride sissy dress. At one point,
That's dope.
we were going to make, I had an idea to maybe make that dress her default outfit. I scrapped the idea because I really love the flower cross on
Yeah.
the left because it looks like an upside down cross, kind of.
It does.
I see it.
The way the flowers move. And
I
I
like
love the
number
way that
4.
dress looked on her, as opposed to something like a wedding dress. But I put that dress up because I wanted you to see the contrast. And this image goes back years. But ultimately, I scrapped it, and I just didn't do it. But when we were talking about new costumes for her and new designs, we went back to this list and said, okay, now we can do the wedding dress. Now's the time. So then it's like, oh, where'd she get it? So then and we tell people where she got it and the backstory, and they said, let's do it then. So really, the wedding dress is something I had in mind for her a long time ago. I just scrapped it because I wanted that black dress on her. Because I just love.
What do y'all think about this, man? I like
And
this.
at one point,
Well, I like number
yes,
4 at
she
least.
had a prosthetic leg.
I'm not a fan of
and
number
you'll notice
2.
she has shoes on
Yeah.
and boots.
Yeah.
So we were exploring a
Or-
lot of different ideas for her that.
Or 9.
But ultimately, Rob, next one, if you can. Yeah, ultimately, see, there you go. I narrowed it down to
Excuse me.
combat boots, kind of like this little sneaker and one boot, and then barefoot.
Yeah.
So ultimately, I thought the boots were trying too hard, and then I thought the one shoe and the one boot was just too obvious. Like she couldn't even in her mind know that she put 2 different shoes on.
Right.
So I went against that because I don't know. Visually, it was. You see that girl hitchhiking, you're like, I'm not picking her up.
Right. No,
Why she got a boot on
Yeah,
and
she
a
had
shoe?
a prosthetic in the
It's just
original
another
design.
tell that something's not right.
Sure.
So barefoot. Oh, she just lost her shoes.
Yeah.
Poor girl.
Yeah.
Look at that
She
poor
needs
girl.
help.
She needs help. And that's where I settled on barefoot. It wasn't because I like bare feet. It wasn't because I like dirty bare feet.
Sure.
It was because I don't have a Tarantino foot
If you
fetish.
noticed in the other ones, the
It wasn't
numbers
that.
were like
it was just because I
4,
felt like,
2, 14,
Oh, that poor
19,
girl.
or whatever. There are more versions of
needs my
Sissy,
help.
I'm sure.
oh, she's walking barefoot?
It didn't
Pick
just
her
say
up.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
So,
I'm sure they had a
There's some
lot of
evolution
different.
of Sissy.
concept images.
Rob, there's another one. And this was we
There
were
we
trying
go.
to figure out how short we wanted the dress and how low the cleavage was going to be.
Oh,
It gets,
it's finna be some freaky
the
people in
dress
chat.
shrinks as it gets to the right.
Watch.
But as you can see, it's very subtle. So we had
Look,
different necklines
It's finna be some freaky people in chat,
that
bro.
I was experimenting with, different lengths, different amount of tears. But I decided on the original one was always the best.
yeah,
for me.
hey.
It was
Give-
classic. It fit
give me
in
the one on
nicely.
the
It
end,
wasn't
bro.
trying too hard.
Yeah.
We didn't need to oversell.
Give me the one
Like
on
her.
the end,
She's
bro.
already just beautiful. We didn't need to go, hey, now the cleavage
Give me
is
the-
low.
hey,
and
I see the
now
vision now,
you
bro.
Can see
I see
half
the
her butt
vision.
hanging out because there's a rip. We didn't need to go down that route because she already was perfect. But at one point, we did think about that.
Yeah, you're right. She does have this, and Kelly gets a lot of credit
Yes.
for that. Just a unique beauty, you know.
Yes, and sometimes you can go overboard with that and try too hard.
Yeah.
So this was me going, wait a minute, what's it actually look like? Let's make it so I can see it visually to know that I don't want it. Yeah, so there's another one too, I think. There's some really old designs of Sissy. This is going to blow your mind. Ready? Yep. So,
Holy
a long,
wow.
long time ago.
I have never seen this before. Wow.
Here is a blonde,
Wait,
non-Kelly Mittendorf version with these baby doll kind of dresses on that. But once again, they have shoes and socks on, and that dress, those type of dress were very, very popular.
I fuck
were.
with this. What the
And
hell?
I didn't want to just do something that you had seen before. So while this looks awesome, I ultimately still decided that that black dress was so unique. I hadn't really
Bro.
seen it before.
Sure.
Whereas these I'd seen everywhere in that time period. A lot of models wore these. You know, the pigtails were very, very obvious. Right.
Yeah.
And I didn't want her to be too much.
Bro,
Harley
we
Quinn.
need this design in a game.
point.
So I steered away from this, even though I love this character.
Yeah.
I still wanted to stick to the black dress. So next one. Once again, dark hair
Wow.
now.
Oh wow.
So it changes her completely, and she's got these ripped stockings on. But once again, she has shoes on, and these dresses are not unique. I mean, they're cool for the time period,
No,
and they're
they
cool now.
are.
They're cool now that you see them because they're different.
What?
Sure.
But when I compared them to her black dress with the flowers, and I wanted to tie in the flowers.
We got robbed, bro.
There's a constant theme of wildflowers.
Give me the red dress. Give me the red dress. Give me the red dress,
the flowers
bro.
are what links Maria to
Give me the
Johnny.
red dress,
the
bro.
flowers are on the map. It takes place during wildflower season, so that's really part of the reason why I stuck with the dress. With
The flowers are almost a character within the game.
They are, and it
you know?
fits Sissy. So even though I like this stuff, and I always did, I felt the other one was better, and I wanted really just that to happen. So, yeah. Is that all of Sissy?
Yeah, I think that's.
Or no, it's one more.
We got one more?
Yeah, and at one point I had short hair.
Oh, wow.
And there's the, the prosthetic leg,
What?
which was still an awesome idea. I love it. But Vilmer. We didn't want to
Yeah.
step on Vilmer's toes.
Yeah.
So we had to cut that. And there's one boot, one shoe. One
It was probably for the
yeah.
best.
But yeah, like the short hair version was always kind of cool.
I like the short
I picture
hair,
her
actually.
cutting her hair with that razor
Dude, I
to get away from the authorities.
totally see it.
So along the way, that was me envisioning that her changing her look on the fly.
While she was.
No, like
I
everybody
fuck
who's
with
looking in
all
the mirror
these,
ever
bro.
shaved their head thinking
Sure.
that that's going to stop the authorities from finding them in a movie.
Yep.
When they just cut their hair in the mirror. That scene.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So there's a little. I wanted to share a little bit of pre Kellen Mittendorf, pre
This is
Sissy
wild.
as you know her, the evolution of her from the first time we thought about her until now, and all the thought process that goes into the character. So all the other characters pretty much have these as well, but we're not going to share them all today. I just wanted to look at Sissy because she was a tough look to nail down. But once I found Kelly's face, and Wes did his magic to do all the legal work to get her face in a game with her.
Yep.
And she was on board. That really, her face in that dress and the no shoes just works for me.
Yep.
It was perfect for me. So,
This is crazy.
yeah.
We're gonna be working overtime today.
That's fine.
We
All right, here we go.
very rarely get you in here, so
right.
we'll roll through the rest of this. But we're on. Let's move on. I think
Johnny? Yeah.
Yeah. Let's move on to Johnny. It's no secret that the community has really glommed onto this character.
You think?
Yeah. He is a TikTok sensation.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, there is a portion of TikTokers out there and people who are obsessed with Johnny and haven't even played our game yet.
No,
They
that's
just
actually
they
true.
like the way he looks, and they want to make thirsty reels out of him, which is fine. So which was funny because we have this obsession with serial killers, right? We have an obsession with good-looking serial killers, and
Sure.
and that's a thing that I'm not going to get into because that's a whole psychological thing.
Yeah.
Right. It would take me all day. But
Yeah,
that's
it,
a thing.
It literally would.
Yeah, that's a thing that exists on both sides.
Yeah.
So it's for female serial killers and for male. We're attracted to things like that. So along the way, when I was thinking of characters for,
By the way, I just want to say this. Ted Bundy is ugly as fuck. I don't know why people were glamoring over him.
I knew I wanted him to be Ted Bundy, to be able to go out into the world and exist without you knowing he's trying to.
Like, Ted Bundy don't look that normal to me. I've always heard that. He doesn't look normal to me.
Stalker. who
I
wasn't
get
as
it, though.
attractive as Ted Bundy.
Yeah.
Like teeth were.
Richard Ramirez, right?
His teeth were like half. Yeah. When he smiled, you knew you were in trouble.
Yeah.
He wasn't well maintained.
Yeah.
Right. But I tried to create a mixture of the two. Someone that was lethal, but could go out and exist in small towns and spring up here and there.
Like,
and
bro,
not
look.
set off a red flag.
Right.
You wouldn't know he was following you until it was too late.
Yeah.
And even if he was following you, you wouldn't be maybe that scared because you're like, oh, it's that guy again. So Johnny came from a lot of research on serial killers. One little story I've told like two people ever. At one point, Johnny didn't talk a lot. He wasn't laughing. He wasn't outgoing.
Okay.
He wasn't completely the narcissistic guy that you see today that's talking to you while you're dying and laughing at you and, walking around looking for, and you're like, I know you're here. He's a very confident guy.
Yeah.
Talks a lot. And that wasn't always Johnny's personality. A long time ago, I had Johnny very cold and calculated, and he wasn't saying a lot. And I wanted him to be more evil and
I like that.
less relatable. Right now he's kind of like a mixture of Billy Loomis from Scream, where he's just shit talking to Nev Campbell, right? You're
Yeah.
playing with her, and that's what he
Absolutely.
does
I like that.
a lot.
I
And a lot of that
definitely
came
see
from
that.
Billy Loomis, but
I
that's a very
definitely
outgoing
see
character.
that.
He wasn't always like that. And here's the story. So the Texas Killing Fields, there's an area, in League City. If you've seen the documentary, The Texas Killing Fields.
Oh, on Netflix, yeah.
Before that came out, on one of my Texas trips, and I don't know why, I researched way too much and went to real locations where things have happened, like cult-wise, serial killer locations, places like that. Just try to like figure out, just do research. And it was too much, right? But I did it anyway. And I was like, you know what? There was a phone booth that they mentioned in that documentary that I wanted to find because I was near that area. I go, I'll find this. So I think I know where, I know it's on Main Street, and I think I know where it is. And I get there, and I'm sitting in the parking lot, and I have this little book that I don't have on me where I write all my ideas down in. I was trying to figure out what Johnny was. And the phone booth is different. It wasn't actually there. It was moved a little bit, and it's a new gas station. And I look over, and it's at the corner of Main Street and Hobbs, which is my last name. Literally, I did not know this.
What?
I looked over and I see Hobbs, and I'm just like,
That is
this
freaky.
this is messed up, and
That
this is too weird.
Wild, dude.
And it was at that point where I was like, this is enough. I'm done. I don't know what it was about seeing that side street named Hobbs, Main and Hobbs. I'm like, what are the chances that my last name is 10 feet from me? And I'm sitting there trying to look at this damn payphone. For what? This is stupid. This is too much. Right? So it is that point where I go, you know what? I don't want to make him that cold and calculated. It was too eerie.
Yeah.
And then when I looked at the area where, like the field, the main field where they found a lot of those victims, I was like, I don't want to play into that anymore. I want to turn Johnny into this boisterous, outgoing character who can hide some of the fact that he's a disgusting dude behind some of the lines and
So that's
laughing and
I'm
smiling.
gonna probably break this stream
'Cause
up.
at one point he
RJB,
wasn't.
I was gonna
Right.
play
And it
Texas
became too
after,
cold
but
and
I'm
too
gonna get off
calculated.
and then stream
when I saw
tonight.
that sign,
That's when
I was
pushed
like-
you in another direction.
yes, I was like,
I'll probably
"That's over."
stream at about like
So it's a funny story that I never really told anyone. A lot of people who don't even know the story. But yeah, just weird.
6
seeing
Central
that.
Time.
And at that point, Johnny took a turn.
Yeah.
To be more outgoing. He's still
Yeah.
saying some nasty stuff,
Yeah.
but I don't know, there's something about him that works because people enjoy the way he talks and messes with you and plays with his food and the hunch.
Yep.
It's almost so overboard
Yeah.
that it takes away from the coldness in a way.
Yeah.
So that's how he happened. That's how that happened because I looked over and saw a damn sign with my name on it while I was looking at a payphone where the serial killer would watch people at a payphone, and that's how he would track them.
That is absolutely.
It was just so weird. I was like, okay, dial it back. So we have some old photos of Johnny that
Yeah,
people are going to
let's do
laugh at.
ooh.
Rob, you want to pull them up?
All right, get
So
ready.
Johnny went through several variations too. Here you go. And
Oh,
look,
oh
so this is
my.
kind of like one of my favorite movies is The Outsiders.
What?
yeah.
It's one of my favorite movies. And Matt Dillon.
That's wow.
They
Yeah,
This is,
I see it.
I always loved that character. But what's funny is if you look close, he's got Maria tattooed on his forearm. And for the,
Nice
long-
touch,
They
Ronnie.
for the longest time, I had
sold.
a side story in my head where he really, really, really liked Maria. Right?
Like genuinely like.
yeah, so I wanted to see what it would look like if he did a homemade tattoo. Now, that wasn't the tattoo I was going to use.
Right.
But if you're wondering why there's a Maria tattoo, it's because I wanted to see it and I wanted to maybe explore that, but it was unreasonable. Like it wasn't
They
going to ever really
sold,
occur.
bro.
It wasn't going to
Sure.
happen. It was kind of just a pipe dream, and I wanted to experiment with that.
I like this design
What
better.
if he
I'm gonna
did
be
wanna-
honest.
Leave the family.
Yep.
What if this was her that he found that got him out of that
I
life?
like
But
this.
that's not how serial killers work. They don't all of a sudden just go, "Oh, I like that girl. I'm going to quit being."
Nah,
a
that's
serial
not
killer." It may
Kevin
last a
Bacon,
year.
bro.
It may last.
He
3
low-key
years.
look like Henry Cavill to me.
And then they go back to killing.
Hell.
So it was a pipe dream. It's a fairy tale.
Serial
but
killers have
I'm
had
sure
wives
some-
for decades and were serial killing during their marriage.
Exactly. So I always thought this, and plus this is really too good looking. Like this guy is really, really kind of suave and
Nah, for
he's
real,
definitely
yeah.
leaner and more.
Yeah.
You know, like especially in the abdomen.
so he just
area.
didn't work for me.
Yeah.
Like, but I love it, but it didn't work
Yeah.
for me
Oh,
personally.
I agree.
man.
So there's another one, I think. So here's some old sketches of faces, and you can see the one we're going to use at the top left. We did use, but this is where I was like, okay, I need him to be more friendlier looking, but I didn't really know. I started down a path of like, to me, the guy on the right looks like someone you would see at a gas station, like in a small town, right?
Right.
So it was that innocent looking face that you wouldn't
Gotcha.
know, that you wouldn't particularly know he was going to kill you. He could fit in anywhere, right? Whereas I needed him to be darker, though. I needed him to be more brooding.
Yeah.
which is where Johnny on the top left comes in. So we went through a lot of variations of face, a lot more than this. But
Man
this was
said
almost
Christian
his face.
Bale.
That bottom left one was almost his
Bottom
face
left would have worked.
in a way. But it just wasn't cold enough. You know, I needed him to be a little bigger, a little
For
stronger.
some
a little
reason,
more
the
menacing
top one
looking,
doesn't look
little
like a
more
real
cold. Like,
photo.
look at his eyes up there and look at the guy on the
Yeah.
bottom.
Oh, yeah.
The guy on the bottom looks like he may be up to something, but Johnny up the
He's
top,
more inviting.
yes, he's more friendly.
Yes.
So
The top
I
left kind
needed
of like it.
more
It looked like a
cold
merged
brooding.
photo or something.
So eventually we did land on that top left photo. That hair's not the same. I forget where that hair we went
Yeah,
through like
what is
400
that
versions of hair. But yeah, it's funny that Johnny almost looked like one of those other people there. Because we found a lot of like old photos of like small town Texas gas stations, and there was always just like a regular looking dude in there helping, right? Some 20-year-old dude in there helping, who didn't look evil. He didn't look nice. He just in between, just hanging out in between. And so
What do
yeah,
y'all
ultimately
think?
though, Johnny, to me, his face is where I wanted it to be. And it took us a long time to get there because I didn't really know what I wanted.
Sure.
But yeah,
the bottom middle.
we messed with a lot of different variations.
Talking about like
so.
15 or 16.
What else? Is there another? One more? I forgot. I don't even know what this is. What is this? Oh, here you go. So little story. Johnny was going to be shirtless the whole time. So I was going to launch the game with shirtless Johnny. He never had a shirt on. But however, I could never personally get the muscles where I wanted them. I just couldn't figure out what I liked. So it wasn't even an art thing. It was me personally. I could never get him to look the way I wanted because I didn't know what I wanted his muscles to look like. So
That's gotta be a little frustrating in the creative process.
It's frustrating because I'm like, he's not perfect. He's not perfect. I can't get him perfect.
Yeah. Then you start probably getting your head a little bit. And
Yes, I go,
guessing
let's
yourself.
play it safe and put a shirt on him. And at this point, I didn't know what shirt I wanted. I didn't know if I wanted the standard white tee that you see at every gas station or a shirt that's cut off.
Right.
I like
So
the
ultimately, I went
cutoff
with
look.
the shirt that's cut off, but there's his old body. It's kind of beefy a little bit. It's not the same body we have now, but I figured people might enjoy.
Definitely still in shape, but just a more step in the dad bod direction.
Yes,
You know?
and less ripped, but
Yeah.
there's still some muscle mass.
Yeah. I mean, that.
But it's funny to see this photo now because
I would kill for that body. You kidding me?
yeah, that white T-shirt was always something that it was very obvious. It was very James Dean.
Yeah.
It was very 1950s.
Gotcha.
It was
I
very
like that,
obvious.
bro,
Where I
yeah.
feel like Johnny would have found a
see it.
T-shirt and just ripped the sleeves off. So that's why we settled on that look. And then eventually I go, you know what? I think someone mentioned shirtless Johnny somewhere, and I go, you know what? Let's do it. So after the game came out and we found our footing again, and started releasing DLC. I was like, okay, we're gonna go do shirtless Johnny. So, but
You
yeah, at
like
one point he
5?
was gonna be shirtless. It's
5
just-
is nice too.
Yeah, I had to change course and put a shirt on him just because of my own personal skill level could not get him where I wanted him to be. So, yeah, is that it for Johnny? Yep. Okay, cool.
All right. Just got a few questions about Johnny.
Yeah.
Before we
Yeah.
move on to Nancy.
Yep.
We know he was taken by.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Right. So.
Yes.
About what age?
Oh, yeah, there's good stuff for Johnny.
So let's go back to the.
He's a toddler.
Yeah. So he's a toddler.
He's a toddler.
And what happened when he was?
He doesn't remember it, obviously.
Obviously.
So, Judith, his mom,
Okay.
they were traveling through.
Judith.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, that was when the business was happening. Salvage business with Nancy and her husband, one of her husbands.
One
So
of her
she's
three.
like, this is a place of business. I'm lost.
Right.
I'll knock on this. Looks safe because there's flowers and it's well kept, and it looks like a business because it was a salvage yard.
Yeah.
Before husbands died and Nancy closed it down.
Sure.
And it is what you see today. So rewind 20 something years, when Johnny's a toddler, it was a different place. So she feels safe enough to stop and ask for directions because you either have a map or you don't.
Yeah.
Her and Johnny and her mother were actually leaving. She was leaving his dad.
Oh.
So he was abusive.
Okay.
So she was leaving him and took Johnny with her to find a better life. I know.
That's tragic. I'm not gonna
Unfortunately,
cap.
she stops at Nancy's house.
Is there a happy ending?
No,
for
no
anyone
one has
here?
a happy ending, my man.
Jeez,
This
bro.
is not Disney Channel.
This is the Texas Chainsaw
Yeah, so-
Massacre.
So she says, okay, I'm traveling through here. I'm looking for this other town. I think I'm going the right way. Let's stop and ask. Right. So they stop. And one thing about Nancy is you ask, if you want to talk, after fast forward real quick and go back.
Yeah. no
Nancy's
worries.
husbands could never give her what she wanted, which is a baby. They all failed
Oh,
one by one, and she killed them for it.
That's not their
pretty cool.
fault.
Yeah, I mean, she wanted a kid.
Wow.
And turns out
That's some deep shit.
turns out she's the problem, not them.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that because
Sure.
you don't get tested. Wow. You know, it's 19, whatever it is.
Wow.
So she's blaming
bro.
them.
Yeah.
And one by one, none of these husbands can give her a baby. She wants her own little kid. And it's hard to go out and kidnap a kid, I guess. So she doesn't go out and just take a kid, right? You get caught. So she blames husbands, knocks off the husbands one at a time. Finally, here at her front door is a baby,
A beautiful.
a beautiful dark-haired little baby.
This lady's
Unfortunately,
evil,
it's got
bro.
a mother with it. So she's like, yeah, come on in. And Nancy ends up killing her mom, Johnny's mom.
Yep.
However,
Judith,
not
right?
yeah, but not before Johnny's mom hits her in the eye with something.
That's
and
why.
blinds Nancy in that eye.
Okay.
So that's how she got.
So that eye is a souvenir from Johnny's mom.
Okay.
Wow.
Before she went out.
This is getting
There's
deep.
been some good fan art of that
Yeah.
eye.
So
yeah.
you know, it's not fully blinded, but you can see.
Yeah.
Like so yeah, Johnny's mother gave that to her as she went out. So then Nancy has a baby. So there's another question, I think, maybe you're going to ask it.
Yeah.
How does he ever find out?
Yeah.
Does he know?
Is he aware of what happened to his mother? Who his mother even is?
Yeah. For the longest time, he didn't know because he was a kid.
Yeah.
He has you know Dexter, right? Obviously.
Yeah, of course.
Born in Blood.
Yep.
That whole flashback where he doesn't know what happened, but he feels like something happened. He
Right.
has those memories.
Yeah.
And then, of course, he hangs out with the hitchhiker. Okay, all the time. So you think the
It
hitchhiker?
always comes back to the hitchhiker.
You think the cook and the hitchhiker is going to keep
man.
that secret?
No.
Especially the hitchhiker.
Can't keep it. Damn.
So the hitchhiker
This
teases
is
him.
sick.
That's not even your real mama. Mama. You know, you're not part of the family. Your mom's dead. You know. So the hitchhiker.
So hitchhiker.
He lets it out of the bag. So when Johnny gets old enough, he's stewing, right? He's 10, then 11, then 12, and then 13, and 14, and 15, and he's growing up and being a big, strong guy.
Yeah.
That she slowly taught how to kill and to manipulate and turn him into the monster he is.
This is
He
sick.
confronts her, gets mad, and was going to try to kill her. He's had enough, right? He, like any teenager, he lashes out, and then she cuts him across his face.
Is that how he got?
That's
the
how
start?
he got his face scar. He stepped up to Nancy
Nah,
and she put
bro.
him in his place when he was a young teenager. So, you know, he
He had a strict mother, guys.
he did. So, but yeah, he found that hitchhiker was teasing him about his mom, that he told her the truth.
That little shit.
Yep.
He's
And
such an
then
asshole.
he confronts her, and then there's a confrontation. Johnny's kind of throwing her around a little bit, and Nancy, because she's cold, and she puts him in his place and beats him and cuts him across his face and says, "If you don't want any more of that, I'd quit."
This
You know, and
is
Johnny,
sick.
I mean, Johnny's not fully huge yet. He's still a kid,
Yeah.
right? At that point, and it's the only mother he has. So
That's all he knows.
So Johnny is torn, and if that's a question that's coming, up,
Wow,
it's
bro.
how does he feel about Nancy and their relationship?
Yes.
He knows.
What's
but
that?
At this
dynamic
point,
for him?
it's Stockholm syndrome. At this point, he's in the family. He's eating people.
Yeah.
What are you going to do?
He is partaking in the cannibalism.
Yeah, and that was a question someone had.
Yeah.
beyond-
That was from your IG. They want to know if he was if he eats.
Yeah, and yes, he does, but it's not a thing he seeks out to do. It's because it's just ingrained in the family.
Yeah.
He enjoys the hunt. He enjoys going out to get away from Nancy. There's also that dynamic. The more time I spend away from this lady, even though she's my mom, even though she did what she did, I'm kind of stuck here.
Yeah.
Or he can do the sissy route and leave. But in a weird way, he doesn't. You know, he still comes and goes.
That's all he knows.
Yeah, it's all he knows. It's like figuring out your parents are a serial killer. I don't know. It's a weird thing.
Yeah, I can imagine.
So yeah, that's where Donnie's face scar came from. Oh, and someone had a question about the other scars on his body. Those are all from fights. Either the victims fighting back,
Nah, Johnny could have really been a good person.
TMI.
Mhm.
If you study choking victims,
Yeah.
usually when someone chokes someone, they extend their arms so they can't claw your face.
Yeah.
So any of the scars you see on his upper body or chest,
From strangulation.
yes,
Yeah.
you never just do this. You
Yeah.
keep them.
It's true.
You tilt your head back. So
Hey,
that
hey,
was also
hey,
more
hey,
probably. I'm
hey,
not
whoa,
looking at this
whoa,
anymore.
whoa. How you
Just,
know
to,
this,
just to
bro?
get a scar right.
Right.
But some of the bigger scars are from fights. He fights dudes. He doesn't care.
Yeah.
Johnny's out getting in fist
Our
fights, getting stabbed
motherfuckers
in the
not
back by
listening, bro.
people,
Like somebody in the comments just said it's
roughing up
Cook
in a
his
bar.
dad. No.
getting bottles broken over his head and back. So yeah, a lot of those are self-defense from his victims, but a lot of them are just him fighting. You know, getting in situations he has to fight himself out of. You know, so. But yeah, the one on his face is from Nancy.
That's
Yeah,
wow.
she's evil. That's what I said. Even her bio says even monsters have makers. Right?
So on brand.
So,
Yeah.
you know, and is whatever you feel about Johnny,
Yep.
she did it. Nancy's the real problem. Like,
Wow.
she made Johnny.
She did.
So he's just some innocent kid who got, which I like the sympathy. Like,
Yeah.
there's always, what happened? Oh, that poor serial killer. I'm going to write him a letter in prison because what he went through as a kid
Yeah.
determined what he is now. Poor baby.
How they're so intertwined. We've actually covered
Yeah.
a decent amount of Nancy while talking about Johnny.
Yeah.
You know, the whole dynamic of them is. I know the community. I know I see it all the time. There's always questions about their connection and
Yeah, the family connection.
yeah, and all that. Like
Well, here's the deal about
Nancy to, like, you know, I'll just come out and say it. There was a trailer and there was a shot.
oh God.
The community caught it, and you know I laughed when the community, because y'all can be funny sometimes. I got to be honest. But at the end of the trailer, there's a shot of the cook and Nancy sitting next to each other, standing next to each other.
I mean,
Are they by any chance? What is the connection there? Are they an item?
no.
Okay.
The hitchhiker and Nancy are not banging. Okay. Okay. Look, how many family photos do you have of people in your family standing next to each other?
Nah, that's crazy, bro.
A million, right? Look on that wall.
Yes.
Like,
I can
just
just
because
tell you.
he's got his hand on her shoulder because they're part of the family.
Nah, that's crazy,
My
bro.
job, you know, our
Yeah.
job every day in communities, you know, is to interact on the social and
Yeah.
talk to
I don't-
folks. And the reaction I saw, one of the first comments I saw was literally, "Wait, is Cook and Nancy?" And I'm like, "No."
Nah. Hey, guilty.
Okay, and they do eat people. Okay, so it's not a stretch to be like, oh God, how dare they have relations?
Yep.
But no, they're not.
So what is the association?
Here's the thing about Kim Hinkle. So
Yep.
the reason, look back at the original film. People go, I'll get to Nancy in a second. People
Yep.
say, who is the cook? What's his relationship? What about Leatherface
Yeah.
and the hitchhiker? Kim didn't want you to know. Now, all we do know is that hitchhiker and Leatherface are brothers.
Brothers.
Because we hear the cook say, look what your brother did to the
Yes.
door. Not look what my brother did.
Your brother.
Not look what our brother did.
Sure.
And they don't even say, where's your grandpa? Or take him to our grandpa. All we know is he's grandpa.
Yep.
We don't know if he's their grandpa
We don't.
Damn.
or some dude's grandpa. It's not the point. He's just grandpa. We just know Hitchhiker and Leatherface are brothers. So we don't know what the cook is.
Yeah.
People assume that he's like the third brother or the dad,
Yeah.
but it's never said.
He's not.
The cook doesn't say, hey, son.
And honestly, it works in the film.
Yes.
And I think it works in
And
the
he doesn't
movie,
want
too.
people to know. So talking to Kim, what I didn't want to do, he's like, Sissy just is. You don't know where she came from, and I want to keep it that way. She could be the cook's daughter.
Yep.
She could be a niece. She could be anything. And Nancy continues that trend of she's just part of the family. Okay? Some people
I
might
like
be like,
that,
oh,
though.
she's the cook's sister. Or
Not
is she
everything needs a
Sissy's mom?
backstory, man.
Right? Clearly not, because the way they talk to each other.
Yeah.
But he wanted it to be just ambiguous. They're just a family, and the less you know sometimes, the
better.
better. We know.
Yeah.
You see these horror movies that explore
absolutely
the kid's origin, and you're like,
No.
it's too much.
the
Mystery.
The less is more approached in the first film that Kim was going for. I think. when
We
he was
we
I like
we
it.
kept that throughout the characters for the most part.
and that is carryover. To
Yeah,
the
I didn't
games,
want.
what
I
you're
would
saying.
never step on his characters and all of a sudden
Yeah.
tell you that the cook is the dad. I would never say that because
Sure.
that's not what he wanted.
Yep.
And it's not up for me to say.
You're not going to say
So-
Cook's the brother either.
No, and any new characters that I come up with, if I feel like they need a mom or a dad or a brother or a sister, I'll say it specifically. But yeah, I'm in the mindset that we don't need to know because I wanted to be faithful to Kim and his characters and that world and that lore. So yeah, but no, they are not having sex, sir.
That's good to know.
Okay.
Okay, we've settled that finally, community.
Yes.
Cook and Nancy,
Nancy has several husbands that are dead,
and we've seen what.
so she didn't need the cook.
You think she loved any of those husbands, or was she just?
No,
using
she did.
Yeah.
But at the same time, she's psycho.
Yeah.
So define love for a psycho. She loves them because she needs them.
She needed a child.
Yeah. And when they couldn't do that, she got rid of them. So, yeah. Is that it for Nancy? What are the questions on there?
There's a couple more here.
All right.
Because we are about to close up shop here, guys. But I want
We'll go over the final list of questions
for sure. There's
Just
a few left. We actually hit up a good amount of them.
just to make sure.
Let's see. I guess
Oops.
talk a little bit because we definitely got to get out of here. We're running up on 2 hours now. We're about 20 minutes over schedule. 'Cause we started right at
It's okay.
yeah, we're good. The dynamic relationship between what is really that especially everything you've touched on with Johnny, things he found out, the hitchhiker blabbing his mouth. You know, what is that relationship like? The dynamic between Johnny and Nancy
I think it's
from each side, I guess.
You ever heard a teenager, even though Johnny's not a teenager, where a mom or a dad's like, "Sweetie, let's go," and the teenager's like, "Hey, fuck you, mom. We gotta go." Sorry. You know, and then the mom's like, "Oh, sweetie, don't say that." They're oblivious to getting stepped on by their kids. So there's a lot of that of
That's
Johnny
hilarious.
telling her, "Be quiet, I hate you," or you know, it's a rocky, volatile relationship because
it's
he knows.
understandable considering that Nancy killed his
Yeah, it's
biological
not
mother.
just, "Oh, I love you."
Yeah,
Now she is. Johnny, don't say that.
right.
Johnny,
That's why I said both because it's gonna be
baby, don't
different.
say that.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, it's rocky because Johnny knows what happened, and he'll never forgive her for it. But at the same time, he still exists in that world. So what's he gonna do? It's either leave or deal with it or kill her. So maybe one day he does kill her. Who knows?
Stay tuned for that.
Who knows? I mean, he's a cold-blooded killer at the end of the day. So just like Sissy, you push him too far. I will. Speaking of love, I will want to clear one thing up.
Sure.
The word "sweetie,"
Yeah.
someone asked me, in our game does not mean love. By the way,
It does not mean
no,
love.
it's like your grandmother. They think because certain characters say, "Oh, sweetie,"
Oh,
Sweetie.
yeah. That's
it's a Southern term of
I was just-
endearment. It's
correct.
the way that your grandmother would say, "Oh, sweetie, it's okay."
yeah.
To a kid, or a parent may say, "Sweetie,
Yeah.
calm down."
It's
So,
not-
and it's really a term, an old term.
It is.
It was
old
used in the
school,
50s,
too.
60s, 70s, and
Correct.
80s. So if you're not from the South and didn't grow up in that time, I can see why you think it would mean love. But yeah, a lot of our characters call each other, "Sweetie, calm down." "Oh, sweetie," right? It doesn't mean that they're lovers. It just means they care about each other in a protective kind of way. It's something you would say to coddle someone and try to be like, "I got you. Sweetie, it's okay." Not, "Hey, baby."
No, it's definitely not that.
So I just wanted to clear that up because I know people have been thinking about it for a year or two now.
Yeah.
Because they hear it, they see the VO lines, but yeah.
No, that checks out. But yeah, in the South, especially in that time, like you said, even
Yes.
going back.
I
to
mean,
the
my
50s,
grandmother called everyone sweetie.
Same.
I mean, sweetie.
No,
sweetie, hey,
the
sweetie,
lunch
hey,
lady
sweetie.
stayed calling
Like,
me
this is a
sweetie, bro. I
thing.
thought I was
Yeah,
really,
Let me
yeah.
get to a couple questions that you had from your
Yep.
Instagram, and then we're gonna close up the shop
Yep.
because I'm sure everyone out there is not too happy with us. So
Yep.
let's move.
It's
on.
5
Let's
o'clock.
move on. This is actually a good question. How did you come up with the family members' abilities?
Oh, I mean, yeah, I'd
Ooh.
start with their looks and figure out. Well, I know Johnny's easy because I want him to be a stalker and a predator.
RJB,
So
huh?
him tracking people
Yep.
makes complete sense, right? Because that's how he would find
Absolutely.
you. The cook's old, so hearing aid. Plus, he would know the entire map completely because he's one of the oldest members. So I feel like he would pick up on creaks and cracks.
Sure.
So that's how we did the noise. Sissy, flowers. What can she do with the flowers? What did she do with flowers? That was always a thing. Oh, grind them up into a poison.
Yeah.
So, and then it's the hitchhiker. Of course, he would be making gnarly traps out of bones and stuff because that's what that freak does.
I like Johnny's line. How do you make those weird?
Yeah, how do you
traps
make those
anyway?
weird ass traps? Too?
Good
Yeah,
way.
exactly. So
Voiced by the great
it's a
Damien
visual
Buffet,
thing. It's a
yes.
visual thing that plays into the way they look?
Yeah.
What is the thing that that works for gameplay based on? So you have lots of ideas for abilities, and you narrow it down to one that fits the look of the character. Nancy and her eye. And Nancy pulling out barbed wire because that's something that she would do because she's insane. It's the opposite of what she looks like.
It's true.
So really, that's how you come up with it.
That's super cool.
It's part visual,
Yeah.
And what works for gameplay.
Yeah, obviously.
So,
yeah, because
Not to gloss over that.
can't ignore that.
Not to
fact.
gloss over it, but yeah. And also the victims also have things that tie into their personality. Toughness for
Yeah.
Anna. Picking locks for Connie because she can fix things on the fly. And then Julie,
Absolutely.
stamina. So Sonny, highlighting, using his smarts and his wits. Those are all just character traits.
I love
the way
that.
they were written. Trying to show that in the game world visually. So yeah, once you have the character's bio and what they are as a person,
Makes that so much
makes
easier.
that a little bit easier.
Yeah.
You just have to figure out what works and what's too gamey, not too gamey. Where's the line at? So
Yeah. One last question we had here is so pre like the first film, right? Pre our game, pre Sally, for instance, from the first film.
yeah,
Did anyone ever escape the family?
no,
Damn.
or else they'd be caught. Now, Johnny has gone out, and we know he's failed
Yep.
because the Pflugerville incident, where he got his scar in his shoulder. There was multiple girls in that house. He thought there was one. He wakes up and all of a sudden gets stabbed by a friend. And
Yeah.
So those two people know they survived,
Absolutely.
right? And Sissy has survivors. Like they mess up when they're out away from the house. But
That's
no
how
one has.
mistakes happen.
Yes, exactly. No one has survived the house
Got it.
encounters. But that doesn't mean that there aren't people who survived out in the wild who know what Johnny looks like and they know what Sissy looks like. But once again, there's no internet. Well, when the police ask you what they look like, you tell them. But okay, there's no database,
Yeah.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah, you can get away with a lot back then.
Yep.
So, but yeah, no one survived. Sally's the first to leave the family house, which is why it's not there in the sequel.
That makes sense.
Yep, Sally's solely responsible for them going to the tunnels.
Yeah.
in
for,
part
for,
two.
For running.
Yeah, they
essentially.
had to leave
On
because
the
she knows
run.
where the house is.
Yeah.
And they're on the run. So
Way down there and whatever
Yep.
they say in the movie.
yeah,
But dude, this was a lot of fun. Before I get you
that
out
the
of here,
last
I have one request. Please never give Cook a horse in the game. Can we never do that?
the good news is we're not going to do any horse tech.
That's
so.
good. There's a little meme
Yeah.
going in within the community. Cook must have horse. Cook have horse. No, Cook's probably not going to get a horse, y'all. So
Yeah, and that is all the questions. Yeah.
yeah, we hit them all.
Oh, Danny and Anna.
Oh, yeah. You know,
Are there relationships?
yeah. Are they?
Here's
tight?
the deal, because they haven't met very much in person.
Okay.
After the tragedy, it's only been a couple weeks. They haven't had time to get closer. So you would think that after a tragedy like that,
Sure.
your sister's missing, my girlfriend's missing.
Yeah.
We grow close over time.
Sure.
And if it was months and months and months, they certainly would, because people find solace.
We
in,
didn't
It was
have
only
months
like a
and months.
week
No.
after.
So
or they didn't. I should.
They
say.
didn't.
Yeah.
So they only had, about a week before
Yeah.
they start going, oh God, she's missing. What are we going to do? And yeah, they're talking on the phone and trying to console each other, but they don't have the time to nurture that relationship that usually happens
Right.
when someone goes missing and the brother and this other person or the sister become close.
Yeah.
So yeah, they would. Absolutely. He would be trying to take care of her.
believe
Danny
it.
absolutely would.
Especially as someone what he's been through.
If he didn't go to this house and there was a different story and they
Yep.
got close to each other,
Yep.
Danny would absolutely try to take care of Anna.
Love it.
And completely be the big brother and make sure that she was good and taken care of. So he'd be at their house talking to the mom and consoling them. And he may have even moved there.
Sounds like a happy ending.
Yeah, well, I said if.
That's a if. Fair.
If.
Fair. I tried to squeeze one out of you before we got out of here.
Nope.
Not happening.
That's
Not
it.
happening.
Okay, I think we're done.
Yeah, I think we're going to wrap this up. We went over about a good 20, 30 minutes here. But
That was clean.
we tried
It's
to.
fun.
It was a
W
lot
stream.
of fun. Thank you.
And I don't get to get on the couch very often, so.
Yeah, the fact that we got you here to join us, we couldn't do this stream without you. Period. So
I hope I answered everyone's questions.
I hope so too. I'm
Yep.
sure there'll be more coming through eventually. Who knows if we can ever do something like this again down the road? But
Very cool.
yeah, just a lot of fun. To the community, we appreciate you.
Yep.
Spend your time in Texas. Join us for this stream today. Be on the lookout for our social channels at TX Chainsaw Game on the Twitter and Instagram. And of course, check out our community hub. Our great community manager, Sid Silva, has written up some good stuff on there lately. So
And if you got good concept art, make sure you send it to me.
yes.
I'm only on Instagram though, Ronnie Hobbs. I want to see it. Like,
Yep.
send it to me as a message or tag me or something. Because
You heard it.
if you send it to Andy, he may not show me.
I share. That's fair.
He
I
may
gotta get in
hoard,
the habit of.
he may hoard it.
Well, I shared a lot with everyone, but sometimes you were busy, and
Yeah,
I gotta get in the habit of sending you stuff directly. But
Yeah.
thank you guys. Be on the lookout for news and updates on our social channels. I'll see a lot of you in the Gun Discord and the TX Chainsaw Game subreddit. Until then, thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you on the next one. Take care of each other,
was
y'all.
clean, bro. How are y'all feeling about that? That was insane. I'm not gonna lie, bro. That was actually insane. I got videos to do. I'm not gonna cap. I love that. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. No bullshit. I love that, bro. I knew the lore went deep. I didn't know it went that deep. I mean, we've been streaming for 2 hours, bro. That was insane. I think these streams are getting better. I love to see them come back. I didn't know Ronnie was gonna be on this this stream, but they answered a lot of questions and they gave us a lot to think about. I love that. I am gonna get out of here. I'm gonna go record. I'm most likely gonna stream later. I think it'll be on Twitch. So I'm gonna link my Twitch. It was clean, but the Nancy story made me feel dirty. Nah, that made me, yeah, bro. I'm gonna go ahead and drop my Twitch down here, guys. Go ahead and follow up if you aren't followed. For any new viewers who did tune in, I appreciate you guys. Love you guys, man. And I'm gonna see y'all next time. Appreciate y'all.